about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. After the University of North Carolina Board of Trustees approved his 5-year contract during an emergency meeting today, new Tar Heels football coach Bill Belichick held his first news conference.
As a teacher, you try to find ways to help the students, help the players. And if you can do that, then they have a tendency to listen and want more if they're motivated, which most of them are. And if you can't, then they look somewhere else. Bill Belichick, the Tar Heels' last ACC football championship came in 1980. Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjork tells 97.1 The Fan head coach Ryan Day will be back with the Buckeyes next year, regardless of what happens in the college football playoff. In the wide-open NFC West, where all 4 teams could still win the division, the Rams play the 49ers tonight. And Adam Schefter reports 49ers rookie running back Isaac Guerendo plans to play in spite of a sprained foot. Raiders defensive end Charles Snowden faces a misdemeanor DUI charge after he was arrested on Tuesday.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Friday, we'll continue to react to the fallout of Bill Belichick deciding to coach North Carolina and bypassing a return to the NFL. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Alondra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Tigers on the practice field. Emery Jones headed to the NFL. Alvin Kamara still out. Mike Triplett later. Ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
LSU on Thursday hit the practice field for the first time here to get ready for the Texas Bowl, and they did so without Emery Jones. Now Jones joining Will Campbell in declaring for the NFL draft. This in no way should be a surprise. We came into this season expecting that both Jones and Campbell would declare for the draft after their junior seasons, both of them 3-year starters, and they became the first freshman tandem duo starting at tackle for LSU 2 seasons ago. And now here they are entering the NFL draft together as well. Campbell making his declaration a week ago. Now Emery Jones here today on the day that LSU begins its preparation for the Texas Bowl. Jones announces he will also leave. It is a smidge disappointing because, and I shared this with you about 3 weeks ago, that there were 3 players that LSU, that I think we all just sort of assumed were leaving, that LSU was able to at least engage in conversation about staying. And those 3 players were Mason Taylor, Emery Jones, and Harold Perkins. Well, Taylor has declared. now Emery Jones has declared. The only one that would still be up in the air is Harold Perkins. So we'll see what Perkins might elect to do. Does he come back off the torn ACL, or does he go test the draft waters? We'll see what that decision is, and when it happens, we'll talk about it. But about a week ago is when I'd kind of gotten word that it seemed like Jones had made the decision that he was going to leave. And so, if you've been paying attention, that's a lot of our commentary has shifted toward that, where the sort of understanding that LSU is going to be replacing all four of the 5 starters on the offensive line. So first, appreciation for Emery Jones. As we said for Will Campbell, we'll say the same for Emery. Emery, of course, is a local kid from Catholic High, came to LSU, and has been a stalwart. He got on the field his first 2 weeks, but by week 3, he was starting, and he never relinquished that spot. He started 12 of the 14 games as a true freshman. In 2022, he was a first-team true freshman All-American by ESPN. In 2023, he was freshman All-SEC as well. In 2023 and 2024, second-team All-SEC is voted on by the coaches. Last year, he was actually voted by the LSU coaches as the LSU Offensive Lineman of the Year, over even Will Campbell a season ago. Emery was overshadowed by the gigantic shadow that Will Campbell cast, but Emery Jones in his own right, a fantastic football player, a great LSU career, and we wish him all the best as he heads off to the NFL. The decision to leave is a little bit of an interesting one because of this sort of in-between spot where Emery Jones found himself. As of right now, as of today, Mel Kiper's big board, and Kiper's just one draft analyst, but Kiper's big board has Emery Jones as the 10th best offensive tackle. Most projections that I've seen have Emery Jones as a day 2 pick. And as I've spent a lot of time in the last month trying to sort of pick the brains of scouts and agents and people in the NFL and those circles to kind of get a sense for where all these guys might go, the feeling pretty strongly on Jones is that the NFL wants to see him play on the interior, that he's probably going to move to guard in the NFL. And so had he come back to LSU, the real question was, okay, had he come back to LSU, likely would have played guard. Because the NFL, that was what sort of the draft advisory people were saying, that the scouts and the agents, they wanted to see him at guard. So if you're Emery Jones and you played your whole career at right tackle, do you move in? You come back to move inside to play guard? Do you actually boost your draft stock? It's just rare that you see interior offensive linemen go in round 1. It's just a rarity. It happens. The Bucs took a center last year in round 1, at the end of round 1. So it does happen, and sometimes you have elite level interior players that do go in round 1. But it would have just been a pretty steep climb, I think, for Emery to push there had he come back and you risk injury and all those things. Certainly there would have been a healthy NIL deal on the table, but he's made the decision to go pro, and you wish him the best. So now, from LSU's perspective, you turn the page to 2025, now that you know Garrett Dellinger and Miles Frazier are out of eligibility, and both of your tackles are going to the NFL draft. So you only have one returning starting offensive lineman in DJ Chester, who was your, say it as politely as you can, he was your weak link this year. It was a first-year starter, a second-year player, and it was a challenge at times this year for DJ Chester. We'll talk about 25 in a second, but just as we look at the bowl game, like who's going to start in front of Garrett Nussmeier in this bowl game, I think the first thing you have to know is, are Garrett Dellinger and Miles Frazier going to play? Both of them are out of eligibility after the season, so both will be going to the NFL draft, but both have the opportunity to play in this bowl game. Brian Kelly was on a teleconference on Wednesday, and he was asked specifically about Garrett Dellinger, if he was going to play in this bowl game or if he was physically able. Remember, Dellinger was hurt right at the end of the first half of that Texas A&M game and he had the tightrope procedure on his ankle, didn't play again. But here was the update from Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, I think physically he'd be able to. I think he's got to make a decision, and he has not yet, whether he's going to forego playing. But Wilson, in terms of the physical, he would be cleared to play.
So there's a good chance, or at least I should say good chance. That's speculative. There is a chance that Dellinger and Frazier could both play. If that happens, then you've got DJ Chester at center, and you've got Dellinger and Frazier, your two seniors, playing guard, which means you'd replace both your tackles in the bowl game. Best guess here is Tyree Adams would be your left tackle, and Weston Davis would be your right tackle. So Tyree Adams, remember this season, was your sixth offensive lineman. He was the guy that was at any of the spots other than center, the next guy in. Well, in the pregame against Ole Miss, he suffered that sports hernia, had surgery, and we didn't see him but for a few snaps late in the season. But he is very likely your heir apparent to Will Campbell at left tackle. He'll be entering his third year, and he's a guy that's continued to progress, is very athletic, and this would be an opportunity for him there. On the right side, Weston Davis was a 5-star in this year's class, and this would be an opportunity. Remember, there's no threat of losing a redshirt year. Anybody can play in the bowl game, and it doesn't count against your eligibility. So Weston Davis, in theory, could have this opportunity to start at right tackle in this bowl game. You also have Bo Bordelon, who's been a swing guy for you. He's been sort of he's put on the 89 jersey and played the blocking tight end, the extra jumbo package guy. And then you've got young guys, Ethan Callaway, Ori Williams, Kyrie Lee, some freshmen that, quite honestly, we saw them in fall camp, and they all looked overmatched. I don't know that you're counting on any of those. So you're going to need, again, we've talked wants, needs, musts. To go get a veteran offensive lineman is a need. It's a need for this team. You've got Paul Mabenga, you've got Cohen Eccles as well, who could be options for 2025. It's possible you could play Cohen Eccles at center. That's more of a natural position, and you could move DJ Chester to guard. So you could have a scenario where Eccles is your center, Chester, Mabenga are your guards, Adams and Davis are your tackles. So I can put together a starting offensive line to take to Clemson next year with guys you have on the roster right now. But if you can go add veteran guys who played a lot in the portal, you do it. But it's worth mentioning that's not something Brian Kelly's done commonly in his 3 years in Baton Rouge, meaning going to the portal to sign offensive linemen. In 3 years, LSU has signed 3 portal offensive linemen. That's it. The first year, they signed Miles Frazier and Tremont Shorts. Frazier ended up, obviously, becoming a 3-year starter for you. Tremont Shorts was here a season, didn't play, and was gone. And then last year, they signed Mason Lunsford from Maryland, who didn't factor in at all, and then he left. And in this year, the 2024 portal cycle, you didn't sign an offensive lineman. So now part of that, obviously, is you were entrenched. You had Jones and Campbell and Dellinger and Frazier. There just wasn't really playing time. But there's jobs open and availability. The interesting thing, though, is for all the portal conversations we've had, we haven't had any conversations yet about portal offensive linemen. We've talked about the tight ends, the edge rushers, the safeties, the cornerbacks. We've talked about a lot of receivers. We've talked about a lot of positions and names of guys LSU's targeting and have hosted for visits. We haven't mentioned any offensive linemen yet. So maybe they feel really good about their group, or maybe there hasn't been anyone to jump in yet that tickles their fancy. So we'll continue to monitor that. But the news today, Emery Jones doing what many assumed he would, declaring for the NFL draft. Salute him on a great 3 years in Baton Rouge, and wish him the best of luck at the next level. All right, it's After Further Review. Show Open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. It's basketball season as well, so if you're going to be at the Maravich Center watching the Tigers, of course, Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers. Remember, every Tuesday over at the Maravich Center, 10 minutes before tip-off, if you're in there early, you get 50% off select concession items, including Bud Light. So make sure you get out there, support the Tigers, and drink ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of AFR. Okay, y'all, glad you're with us here. Thursday shows presented by Decision Critical, Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge, decisioncriticalbr.com. I got a quick break. We'll jump on the Saints injury report when we come back. Also, a ton to get to. Darin Tietgen will be here in about 30 minutes for our Fantasy Blitz. I know a lot of you are in the Fantasy Playoffs, so you want to win your league, you want to win some cash, or just bragging rights, let our guys at whotostart.net help you out. Darin Tietgen, again, coming up in about 30 minutes from right now, and Mike Triplett will be here in hour number 3. Well, now I got a quick break. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. If you are buying for that hard-to-shop-for person on your list, y'all, Clegg's Nursery can help. What a gift card from Clegg's. Let them choose. Maybe it's a white elephant game at your company Christmas party or a family Christmas party, or maybe you're looking for stocking stuffers, whatever. Clegg's has so much for anyone. Look, for green thumbs, that's pretty obvious. But even if you're not a green thumb or buying for a green thumb, Clegg's has tons of stuff for the home and for the garden. They've got great indoor and outdoor decor, bird feeders and hummingbird feeders, tuned wind chimes. There's so many amazing gifts. And it's not too late, y'all. They've still got a nice selection of Christmas trees, the real Christmas trees and the pre-lit trees. You can find them at any of the 4 Clegg's nursery locations all around the greater Baton Rouge area. So buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2025 Ram 1500 truck with $15,000 off MSRP. $15,000 off the newly designed Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
Bill Belichick was introduced today as the new head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. That is a conversation that I think everybody's having, and just the oddity of it. I certainly would have thought, again, knowing nothing about Bill Belichick personally, just the same that most of us do, just having watched him have the dynastic run in New England. My thought on Bill Belichick was always, he's like 14 wins away from Don Shula's career wins record in the NFL. And obviously, they had some really rough years there at the end in New England. Otherwise, he would have passed already. And he won 6 Super Bowls, but he won them all with Tom Brady. Brady, of course, went to Tampa and won a Super Bowl with the Bucs. So some of the narrative was, well, we always said it was Belichick, Brady together. Brady leaves. the Patriots faceplant, but Brady goes on and wins a Super Bowl with Tampa. Maybe it was more Tom than it was Bill. My thought was just, again, outside looking in completely, would make a lot of sense for Bill Belichick to say, I'm going to go to the best NFL spot possible to win a Super Bowl without Tom for my legacy. Win a Super Bowl in 2 different places and to show that it wasn't all just Tom. I don't know that he needs that validation. Clearly, with today's decision that he's joining North Carolina or being introduced today, he doesn't care. But it is still odd. The thing I'll turn around, though, too, and say, look at all the NFL coaching changes from a year ago. All of the organizations that could have hired Bill Belichick. And then ask yourself this. Atlanta's got Raheem Morris. Who would be better in Atlanta today? Raheem Morris or Bill Belichick? Carolina hired Dave Canales. Who would have been a better option? Dave Canales or Bill Belichick? We can keep going. The Raiders hired Antonio Pierce. You want Antonio Pierce or a guy that won 6 Super Bowls? The Chargers hired Jim Harbaugh. That's a good hire. Harbaugh had been to a Super Bowl and won in the NFL. Gerard Mayo replaced Belichick. But Seattle with Mike McDonald might have him in the playoffs, might win that division. But Mike McDonald or Bill Belichick? Tennessee's awful. They hired Brian Callahan. If you're Tennessee, would you rather Brian Callahan today or Bill Belichick? Washington hired Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn got to a Super Bowl in Atlanta, and I think he's going to do quite well there in Washington. So far, so good. But if you're Washington and you've got a rookie quarterback in Jayden Daniels who's doing well and you were going to hire a defensive-minded coach, Dan Quinn or Bill Belichick? Man, sometimes in the moment it's really hard to look at that because things had gone badly in New England. And maybe it was easy to say, maybe he doesn't have it anymore. All that's whatever. But my goodness, when you could take a step back, all of those teams in the NFL that I just mentioned, it is sheer stupidity to have hired the coaches they did when literally the greatest coach ever was available and willing to coach. And I understand Belichick's age at 72 years old. What's the average coaching length in the NFL? I mean, coaches are hired to be fired. 3 years? I mean, if you're trying to win a Super Bowl and you feel like you might be close, I mean, you want to make a run at it with Bill Belichick for 3 years? Or throw a dart blindfolded with Mike McDonald or Brian Callahan? Let's give one of those guys their first opportunity. I'm not saying retreads always work, but Bill Belichick ain't no retread. It'll be fascinating to see how Belichick does at North Carolina. I was listening to Jimmy and Charles earlier on Live at Lunch, and the early win total projection for North Carolina is out. It's at 6.5. One thing's for certain. The windfall of attention that Deion Sanders brought to Colorado, all the new eyeballs that were fascinated to watch how that experiment was going to go, the same net effect is going to happen in Chapel Hill. And they're making a gigantic financial commitment to Belichick and to this program. See if we can get there. Because one thing that this first year of the college football playoff, the first year of the 12-team playoff in the NIL era has taught us, you can buy your way to a championship, or you can buy your way to relevance. Hello, SMU. I mean, we have talked about SMU for a while here. And the day that we started talking about SMU here was the day Ross Dellinger published that piece at Yahoo. If you haven't read it yet, read it. It's like a good 20 to 30 minute read. Like, it is a long feature piece. But like, find the time to read it if you can, because it's fascinating and it'll tell you, plain and simple, the new day and age. Because if I'm going to oversimplify it for you, a bunch of billionaires got together and decided they were going to buy their way into the ACC. They basically, so what SMU basically said is, hey, we don't even need the rights money, the TV rights money for a decade. You keep it. Just let us in the league. And these billionaires committed to just funding the athletic department without the TV revenue for a decade. So, and as a result, look at what you're seeing. I mean, SMU's got a top 10 recruiting class. They're in the playoff. I mean, year one, they have bought their way to relevance. And North Carolina, if they have that type of backing to go pay Bill Belichick what they're going to pay him, fund facilities and NIL and everything, like North Carolina may be about to do the same thing. I mean, Phil Knight has been bullish. Phil Knight has said, look, man, he's old. You don't know how many more years you got. He wants to see Oregon win a championship. Look at the commitment they've made right now. By the way, earlier this week, a lot of y'all, it's pretty funny. I shouldn't say a lot of y'all. I mean, I would say probably 100 people have either tweeted me, texted me, whatever. The Brad Crawford tweet, Brad Crawford from 24/7 with the NIL rankings, right? And how he had LSU 3 on that list. And again, it's per NC, and a lot of people didn't bother, and Brad didn't do a good job of explaining it, of what this was. And I did message him privately, and he sent me a link from the NCAA, and it was effectively NCAA estimates based on the history and tradition and notoriety of a program that if they went all in, like how much they could potentially garner. So it was Texas, Ohio State, then LSU 3. But keep in mind, look at this list. Knowing what you know about NIL and the schools, knowing what you know about NIL and the schools that are all in, like what is the most glaring omission on this list? Texas, Ohio State, LSU, Georgia, Texas A&M, Michigan, Alabama, Florida, Clemson. There's no Oregon on the list. I mean, Phil Knight, who is acknowledged, blank check, open checkbook. What do you need? Try to get a championship before I die. Oregon's not on that list. Point is, everyone who's brought that list, like, it's stupid. It's completely factually inaccurate. Not even remotely close to reality. But anyway, I don't want to get too derailed on the point. Point is that you can buy your way to relevance. SMU has done it. Oregon very clearly is all in trying to win a championship. And maybe North Carolina with Bill Belichick is going to make the commitment to do the very same thing. I don't know if it'll work, but they are going to get a ton of attention. You're going to have certainly players that want to go play for Bill Belichick in the same way that there are guys in the NFL that would go play for Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots because they felt like they had a chance to win. And the same with guys that wanted to go play for Deion Sanders. So this will be a fascinating test case in the same way that Coach Prime at Colorado has been. So we'll see if it works. I got way more interest in North Carolina now than I have in really my entire life. I mean, I think in 96 with Mac Brown, his first go-round, they had like a season where they started 10-0 and then got waxed by Florida State or whatever it was. I mean, they were in the top 10. And, I mean, aside from that, I don't know that I've had interest in North Carolina football my entire life. I do now. All right, we're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Honest to goodness, true story. Was sitting there. Every Thursday we have a parish construction roofing marketing meeting. So it's me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and all the partners. And and we're in Richard Tilley's office, and I counted. He had 5 pair of glasses on his desk. 5. He's like, oh, what number blue light glasses? It's not real. He's like, and somebody left those in here. Either way. Point is, that's a hassle. If you're always grabbing the readers, they're hooked on your shirt, or you got them on your head, or you can't remember where you left them, or you sat on them and broke them, you're reaching for something because you can't read a menu or a book or whatever, be done with that forever. Call the Williamson Eye Center. Dr. Blake Williamson will take great care of you. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. No matter your age or your refractive issue. If it's LASIK, if it's PRK, Evo ICL, that's the implantable contact lens. That's an alternative to LASIK. There's a solution for you. Just go for that free consultation. Call 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. WilliamsonEye.com. All right, Saints injury report is out. Mike Triplett will be here in hour number 3. We'll go deeper into this. But Let's see. The only change is Bub Means went from limited on Wednesday to out. He did not practice on Thursday with that ankle injury. Juwan Johnson remains limited with the foot. Tano Passanio, full participant again. Remember, they opened his 21-day window, so he could return at any point. We'll see if they activate him this weekend. But the most significant news, Carr out. DeMarco Jackson, of course, still out, but Alvin Kamara still absent due to illness. Darren Rizzi said on Wednesday that they were worried about Kamara being contagious, and so it sounds kind of like the flu maybe. So they're worried about him being contagious, so they're keeping him away. Hopefully he turns the corner in time to play on Sunday. Listen, I don't need Alvin Kamara to practice. I see him show up on Sunday, be healthy and ready to rip. The Commanders' injury list continues to be decidedly longer. A couple of upgrades, though, 3 upgrades. Zach Ertz didn't practice Wednesday, was full on Thursday. Cleveland Farrell didn't practice on Wednesday, was limited on Thursday. And then Zane Gonzalez, the kicker, was limited on Wednesday and then a full participant on Thursday. So they were all upgraded. The most significant injury continues to be Noah Brown, their great wide receiver. Kidney injury, that's thought to be season-ending, but we'll follow it. But the others that were sort of on the fence upgraded on Thursday. Of course, as you know, if you're not practicing by Friday, chances are it's not going to work out for you to be ready to go on Sunday. But that's good news for the Commanders as they come to the Saints on Sunday. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Remember, you can email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. We're brought to you by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. We're heading into the holiday season. Remember, IVs, y'all. Their nurses can go anywhere. Your home, your office. If you're feeling under the weather, dehydrated, you got a night of partying ahead at a holiday party, get that hydration, your cellular hydration with a hydration IV from Decision Critical. They can come anywhere. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. All right, we'll eschew a normal around the SEC when we come back next because there's one player in particular that I want to talk about. A former 5-star who's in the portal that is a great example, a crystal clear example of why what's happening at LSU today is happening everywhere, and nobody is immune.
AFR.
Y'all, we're brought to you by Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Big guy, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays from our friends over at Glow Resources, Jareth Knockan and his whole crew. I say often about Glow, I tell you what they are by telling you what they aren't. They're not a temp staffing agency. I tell you all the time about their offices. Yes, their corporate headquarters are in Baton Rouge, but they've got offices literally all over the country, helping place people in jobs all over the world. But one of the reasons primarily, and you will understand this if you have one conversation with Glow, if you step one foot into their office, and you will understand immediately what I mean. One of the reasons people love to work with Glow Resources is they are fun to work with. You walk into their office and you understand the culture, the vibe there. They're fun to be around. They're fun to work with. It's a pleasure. It's a joy. And they get results. 96% success rate. It's Glow Resources. Complete employer solutions. GlowResources.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today. Or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Darin. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
You got to remember, Alondra, we don't have, like we do the produced open, so you don't have the lead, so you just got to get right to the hook right there.
Oh, that's true. I guess so. You're right.
Yeah, it's always a good day when Alondra's filling in. We love Muse here. We give him a lot of crap. He deserves it, but we love him. The show punching bag, and Paul plays along too, which is a lot of fun. But
Tay-Tay's our punching bag.
Yes, no doubt. Exactly. And for those that don't know, Alondra produces Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob every morning. But when Alondra's here, we always get a little throwback to our 90s grunge, alt-rock, and just a little head bobbing. You know it's going to be a good day. Yeah, it's a great vibe, man. Vibes are immaculate here. A little back, a little where it's at, a little 2 turntables and a microphone. There it is. Let me hear it. All right, before we get flagged on YouTube, I like OTB gets flagged every single day.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and turn the down. All right, we're going to eschew a normal around the SEC because I want to talk about one player in particular, and I think this is representative of every program in college football right now. We do have Darin Tietgen in 10 minutes for our Fantasy Blitz, so if you are in your fantasy football playoffs, get your questions in for Darin Tietgen. Email us, tweet us, or text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400. So, you might have noticed that Malachi Nelson is back in the portal. If you don't know who Malachi Nelson is, he was the number 1 overall prospect for the class of 2023, depending on which service you look at. But he was a 5-star quarterback from Los Angeles, signed with USC, and after 1 year at Southern Cal, went into the portal, landed at Boise State. Now he's back in the portal again. Notice I said landed at Boise State. What is Boise State preparing to do? Play in the college football playoff. The backup quarterback at Boise State is not going to be with the team in their college football playoff game because he entered the transfer portal. Earlier Thursday, Sage Ryan went into the transfer portal for LSU. That's the 16th player. I got a text on the show text line from Dustin, and he said, man, what's happening to LSU? And I said, the same thing that's happening to every school. About 15 to 20 guys on average at every school go in the portal every year. Just that's the numbers. Roughly a quarter of college football goes into the portal every year. And he replied, he said, I got you, but it feels a lot worse. I'm not used to this NIL era. Let me illustrate this for you then. And Dustin's not alone, by the way. He was just the most recent text. And so I'm replying to him, and I'm using this here because a lot of people have said the same thing. Like, what's going on, man? Why are these guys leaving? Is Kelly losing control? No. This is college football. Last year, roughly 25% of college football went into the transfer portal. So roughly a quarter of everybody's roster enters the portal. 15 to 20 players from each school on average every year in the portal. And that is without exception. Malachi Nelson is a great example of that. Malachi Nelson was a 5-star, number 1 quarterback in the country, went to USC to play for Lincoln Riley in 2023, was a backup, jumped in the portal, went to Boise State, lost the job at Boise State, was a backup this year, now he's back in the portal. So you have a guy on a college football playoff team choosing not to stay with his team in the college football playoff to hit the portal because this is how the calendar falls. You have this small window to enter the transfer portal if you're going to leave. So it doesn't matter if you're in the playoff. If you are entering the portal, you're gone. And it ain't just Boise. So Boise, remember, Boise State about to play in the college football playoff. Boise has 7 players in the transfer portal right now. The team about getting ready for a playoff, 7 players in the portal. Notre Dame, Clemson, Georgia, Penn State, Oregon. Those 5 all have 3 players in the portal. So lower number. Again, Georgia, Notre Dame, Penn State, Clemson, Oregon. Those 5 have 3 players in the portal. Forgive me, SMU has 2. That's the fewest. SMU has 2 in the portal. The other 5 I mentioned have 3. Texas has 7. Boise State has 7. Indiana and Tennessee each have 8 players in the portal. And Arizona State has 11. Arizona State's getting ready to play in the inaugural 12-team college football playoff. Arizona State's got 11 players in the portal. Tennessee, Indiana have 8. Boise and Texas have 7. Ohio State has 5. And the rest, Georgia, Notre Dame, Clemson, Penn State, Oregon have 3. SMU has 2. Every single team in the playoff all have guys in the portal. Nobody is immune. I'll also say to you, let Malachi Nelson be another illustration of the dangers of overpaying for a quarterback out of high school. And yes, this is parallel with the Bryce Underwood conversation, but remember, we talked about Lane Kiffin said the same thing. Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss did not sign a high school quarterback this year. We all agree. Lane Kiffin, good offensive coach, smart offensive guy, quarterbacks, all that sort of stuff, did not sign a quarterback. And his whole point was, look around. You go invest all the resources to recruiting and signing an elite quarterback, and they don't stay. So you waste that money because they're gone after 1 year. And he's right. Now, Malachi Nelson will be at his 3rd stop in as many seasons. So maybe part of me is trying to make you, I don't know if I'm trying to make you feel better about the Bryce Underwood thing, but it's an illustration, again, of why LSU did the right thing in stepping away and saying, you know what? We're just not going, we have topped out. We're not going further here because I'm not going to compromise the rest of my roster for a giant unknown. The other part of this, too, is this could be I'm not saying it will be Malachi Nelson. Now, I will tell you, Malachi Nelson had some interest in LSU last offseason because he has family from Louisiana. And, I mean, I even fielded me personally, I fielded phone calls about Malachi Nelson from people saying, hey, can you get us in? Like, as silly, I understand fully, as silly as this is going to sound. And listen, I ain't nobody's agent. I'm no conduit in between anything. But I fielded calls last year from people associated with Malachi Nelson trying to get interest from LSU and bringing him to Baton Rouge. I'm not saying that that's going to happen this year or they have any interest. Clearly they didn't have any interest last year. But that's the kind of prospect LSU should be looking at because Brian Kelly said it point blank. They're going to add a quarterback. You lost Ricky Weeks. You have to add a quarterback. You didn't sign one in the high school cycle. You have to add a quarterback. If maybe it's a player like this that once upon a time was a highly regarded high school prospect, that it didn't work out where he is, now he's in the portal. Come sit for a year behind Nussmeier, and then compete to win the job in 2026. And I'm not saying it will be Malachi Nelson. I'm just illustrating a player like that could be the target for LSU in the portal. Just something to file away and keep an eye on. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by our friends over at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, We are counting down to Christmas, y'all. Today is the 12th. You have 12 more shopping days. And Christmas is 13 days away. That's crazy, isn't it? Oh, my gosh. Christmas is less than 2 weeks away to Christmas. Get on the ball. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. You can shop online. There's a holiday gifts page right there on the home screen. They even have select gifts under $1,000. So if you're looking for an exquisite piece of jewelry, you can find it at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Any of their 9 locations, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, or online at lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, quick break. We'll come back. Darin Tietgen's here, our Fantasy Blitz, whotostart.net. Get your questions in before you set your fantasy football roster. Get your fantasy football questions answered from whotostart.net. That's next on our Fantasy Blitz.
AFR.
Big shout out to our friends over at Duplessis Builders doing big things, and they've done it again. Told you earlier this year over at Duplessis Builders, they struck NIL deals with Kyron Lacey and Harlem Berry. Well, they've done it again with a local prospect that we're very excited about as well. So Jacob Myers, who prepped locally at Sanama, elite pitcher, went to Nichols, jumped aboard with LSU out of the transfer portal this year. Well, Duplessis has locked up an NIL deal with a local prospect. Remember, Jacob Myers, huge strikeout stuff, one of the top strikeout pitchers in the country last year. Going to factor in pretty big for LSU baseball in 2025. And now Jacob Myers, part of the Duplessis team again. Derek Duplessis, LSU alum, loves to support the Tigers when he can, especially great local athletes like Jacob Myers. So salute to Jacob Myers. Salute to Duplessis Builders. You want that pool or outdoor kitchen? DuplessisBuilders.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com. After Further Review, this is the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Do you know who I am?
Powered by whotostart.net.
Who the hell are you?
Whotostart.net. The Fantasy Football Blitz.
Who the bitten?
This is the Fantasy Football Blitz. Powered by whotostart.net.
All right, let's do it. Darin Tietgen's with us. Fantasy playoffs, ripping and running. Get with our guys over at whotostart.net. That's the numeral 2, whotostart.net. Yes?
The call just dropped, but he's calling back right now. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. whotostart.net. Before you set your fantasy football roster, check with our guys over at whotostart.net. I'll remind you real quickly while I have the opportunity, they have a playoff special going on right now for $5.99 for the rest of the season. Get every fantasy football question you have answered. They'll run it through their algorithm, tell you who you should start. $5.99 for the rest of the season. Use the promo code ESPN. We good? Darin, what's up, man? Oh, Alondra, I am feeling not great about how this is going so far. What in the world?
Let me call him back.
I'm wondering if our phones are not working.
Well, I'm talking to him, so I don't know.
All right. Okay. Well, I think we got one more try in us, Alondra. If we're not going to go 0 for 4, so 0 for 3 is it. So we got to make it work this time. Darin, how are you?
I'm good.
Hey, there it is. Fantastic. Hey, do you have us on speakerphone, by the way? If you could pick up the handset, that would be great. I don't hear him anymore. He's gone. Oh, no. You know, at some point, you just realize it wasn't meant to be. What are we doing? Is he still there?
I'm talking to him. I don't know why every time.
I heard him last time.
Okay.
This was last time, and then we're moving on if we can't get it. All right, Darin, I think you can hear me. Let's start with the game tonight. I don't want to waste any more time, so blow and go. What are we looking at tonight with the Rams and the Niners?
For tonight, obviously, it's going to be a good game, obviously, because two teams fighting for a playoff spot, two offenses. Obviously, the Niners aren't what they used to be, obviously, with all the injuries, but Jawan Jennings is a good play. Sounds like Isaac Orendo is a good play for tonight. And, of course, George Kittle on the other side of the ball, Matt Stafford, Kyron Williams, and, of course, the two running back or the two wide receivers are definitely on your radar for plays tonight.
Cool. I'm not going to jinx this, Darin. I'm just going to keep going. Sleepers for this weekend.
A couple sleepers. Yeah, we got a couple sleepers for you. Javonte Williams, really been kind of a down season for him, but really like the matchup against Indianapolis this week. Kind of a get-right game for him, if you will, in a definite must-win for the Broncos in terms of playoff positioning for them. So we like Javonte Williams to have a little bit of a bounce back. Then wide receiver-wise, Joshua Palmer had a pretty good game for the Chargers last week with Ladd McConkey out. Ladd should probably be back for the Chargers, but the matchup is really good against Tampa Bay. So even if Ladd is back, Josh Palmer could be a nice play for you at wide receiver.
All right, let's get your questions in for Darin Tietgen. Try to win you your league. whotostart.net. Keith says DeAndre Swift or Najee Harris. Who to start?
I'm not liking DeAndre Swift this week, so probably go the other route there.
Sean, let's see. Oh, he made the playoffs in 2 leagues. Shout out. Or he's got 2 questions. Mahomes or Goff. Also, Love or Tua. So I guess that's one in each league he's got. So Mahomes or Goff, and then Love or Tua.
Yeah, I'm going Mahomes and Tua there just based on the matchups. Both of those guys look like they're probably your better options.
Grant, who to start? He's got a full PPR league here. James Cook or JSN? Who to start?
That's tough. We have both of those guys projected about the same in terms of flex value. I think if you're in a PPR format, JSN is probably your pick there.
Joe Robb says, got a quarterback question. Sam Darnold or Brock Purdy? Who to start?
Yeah, Sam Darnold's on a hot streak, has a pretty good matchup. Chicago to start the season was pretty tough against quarterbacks, but they've been kind of on a little bit of a slide. And Sam Darnold just too hot, has two of the hottest receivers in the game, and Addison and Justin Jefferson, of course. So liking that matchup at home against a fledgling Bears team, so I would go Darnold there.
Caleb needs running back help. This is kind of a who to sit, Darin. He's got three, so he needs one of the three. He's got Isaac Warrendo, Breece Hall, or Isaiah Pacheco. Never mind. That's not a who to sit. That's a who to start. Yeah, so which of the three? Who to start? Oh, no. Man, we made it for there it is. We had a solid like 3 minutes there. We got some good questions in. We got the game tonight. We got the sleepers, so no worries. We only have like 60 seconds left. Let's just move on. So we'll go. But remember, if you didn't get your question in, go to who2start.net, numeral 2, who2start.net. They'll answer every question you got, help you win your league, and $5.99 for the rest of the season with the code ESPN. So apologies for those that I didn't get to. We just had phone issues. We appreciate Darin for being a trooper with us. Again, who2start.net, the numeral 2, who2start.net. Y'all get you some Evermore. Drink Evermore natural artesian water, a rare alkaline source. This is an artesian well right there on the North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain in Covington. The bottling plant is right there, built around the well. They pipe the water out of the well, into the plant, into the bottle. It never touches air until you uncap it. It's Evermore. Drink Evermore. EVAMOR, evermore.com to find retailers near you or to order online, evermore.com. EVAMOR, evermore.com. All right, it is after further review. We're glad you're with us. Mike Triplett in hour number 3. Could Tillman Fertitta buy the Saints? We'll get to that next hour. When we come back, preview of the Tigers and the Baylor Bears.
AFR.
Ooh, Thursday. What an opportunity to start the weekend off right. Great opportunity to get by Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservation, or y'all just walk in. It's Thursday. It's December the 12th. You're knocking off of work today. Maybe you want to start your holiday early. Maybe you have a client in town, family in town. How do you get the weekend started off right? You go to Supper Club. If you don't have a reservation, it's okay. It's open seating at the bar. So even if you can't get a table, you could walk in, you could grab a bar stool, maybe you get lucky and get a table in the bar area. But either way, no matter where you sit in Supper Club, you're always going to have an incredible experience, dining experience, the ambiance, unmatched, unparalleled. Remember, Supper Club gift cards available, and they are taking reservations for Christmas Eve. SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Darin. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Bill Belichick meets the media today in Chapel Hill, holding a news conference that included the presentation of a North Carolina hoodie. A.D. Bubba Cunningham put on a sleeveless sport coat for the occasion. How did Belichick get his first college coaching job? ESPN's Adam Schefter.
As he sat back and observed the landscape and the changing college landscape that's more like a football business with NIL money, I think that attracted him more and more, especially considering that the NFL turned its back on him last offseason.
Adam Schefter. The Heisman Trophy presentation is on Saturday, and one of the finalists, Colorado's Travis Hunter, today is named the Associated Press College Football Player of the Year. Boise State running back Ashton Genty finished second. Arizona State running back Cameron Scadaboo finished third.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Friday, we'll continue to react to the fallout of Bill Belichick deciding to coach North Carolina and bypassing a return to the NFL. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing Service in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Malandra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Could Tillman Fertitta buy the Saints? I have some thoughts on that. We'll get to in about 15 minutes from right now. What to watch at the bottom of this hour. Tigers and the Pros, Mike Triplett next hour. If you haven't heard the newsy stuff today from LSU, Sage Ryan, the 16th LSU player in the portal, and Emery Jones has declared for the draft. So we did open the show today with my thoughts on Emery Jones. That's available podcast, YouTube, so check it out. However you get your podcast or YouTube, just search After Further Review. Or if you just want our LSU content, LSU, just want our Saints content, AFR Saints. YouTube podcast, easy. Just search AFR LSU or AFR Saints. You'll see it right there. Please subscribe. Okay. This is an incredibly hectic time. A week ago, it was, just look at what the last 14 days or so have been like. From finishing the regular season while polishing off recruiting for the early signing period. mean, you finish the game against Oklahoma on Saturday night. Boom. Wednesday, your dead period Sunday. Wednesday, early signing period. Monday, portal window opens. And now you are full on roster retention and recruiting out of the portal. So just nonstop. And oh, by the way, Thursday, today, LSU at the practice field for the first time getting ready for a bowl game. So an incredibly busy time. But this period right here, the next 3 weeks leading up to LSU and Baylor in the Texas Bowl, I also believe is a massively important period. I am not going to be so disingenuous as to sit here and try to sell you on the importance of the Texas Bowl, because it is objectively not important. When LSU went and played Purdue in the, was it the Citrus Bowl or the Cheez-It, whatever it was a couple of years ago, the Cheez-It Bowl, whatever it was. Aiden O'Connell didn't play. Everybody from Purdue opted out. You're playing a JV team. It didn't matter. It didn't matter a lick. Last year, that game against Wisconsin, the result of that game, I mean, Malik Neighbors set the career receiving record and then took off his pads and sat the rest of the game. Shout out, all good. Dudes opt out. These games don't matter anymore. They're glorified exhibitions. But the piece that is massively important, in my opinion, are the dozen practices you get in advance of the bowl. Because with all of the opt-outs and the NFL draft declarations and all of the roster turnover, this is an opportunity for guys that are going to be asked to play a key role next year to start with that role now. It's basically a second spring practice. I'll come to this game here in a second, and everything Brian Kelly had to say about it. But think of it this way. A year ago, Jaden Daniels wins the Heisman, opts out of the bowl game. Shout out. Garrett Nussmeier, who had been sitting for 3 years, had the opportunity for a dozen bowl practices to take every rep with the ones, to go lead the huddle, to be the voice in the huddle, to be the man, and everybody knew it, to work on timing with receivers. Remember Joe Sloan? Mike Denbrock had left. Joe Sloan was calling plays in the bowl game. All of those things. Then to actually go get a dress rehearsal in a bowl game. All before spring. So by the time you got to spring, it was like, okay, I've already done this. Everybody knows I'm the man. And then you get to fall camp, and it's like, it feels like you've been doing it for a year. Because you almost have. That's the value. It's the bowl practices. So Brian Kelly did give some opening thoughts on this Baylor Bears team that LSU is going to face on New Year's Eve.
I also want to congratulate Baylor and certainly, Dave Aranda and the success that they've had at Baylor this season. I think they've won 6 in a row, playing as well as anybody in the country. So, familiar with Dave, a great football coach. He was part of the LSU championship team. So, a lot of familiarity here, and should make for a great game between two teams that are looking to continue momentum going into 2025.
Aranda was very much on the hot seat coming into this year. That great, in year 2 at Baylor, they win the league, win the Sugar Bowl. Then he went 6 wins, 3 wins, came into this season squarely on the hot seat. They started 2-4. They had the unconscionable loss to Colorado, where they allowed the Hail Mary to force overtime, and then they fumbled into the end zone in overtime to a walk-off forced fumble by Travis Hunter. It went out of the back of the end zone. But they turned it around, and they won 6 straight, and they're 8-4. And Aranda feels like he's on a little more stable ground now. But we will always, of course, revere Dave Aranda. Even though Brian Kelly wasn't here, he acknowledges he was kind of part of the greatest team ever.
He is thought of in a very positive manner. I think his personality, how he treated people, he left here certainly he left on, a high note, right? I mean, they won the national championship, but the way he treated people, look, in everything we do in life, it's how you leave, right? And I think the feelings that many people that I have run into feel as though he's a man of character, integrity, class, and that seems to resonate anytime his name is brought up. So, and he's a really good defensive coordinator. I mean, that helps, right? I mean, those two things, your work and then away from work, people talk in positive terms about Dave.
It'll be interesting because as Dave Aranda is known as a great defensive coordinator, great defensive mind, Baylor this year has been a better offensive team than defensive. In many ways, LSU and Baylor kind of mirror each other. For what it's worth, LSU nationally has a better scoring defense than Baylor. Like, think about that for a second. This Blake Baker defense, this defense we just saw from LSU, ranked higher than Dave Aranda's Baylor defense. Opt-outs are going to be a huge part of this. Who is actually going to be out there and play? So we already know for LSU the guys that have declared. Mason Taylor, Will Campbell, Emery Jones, they've declared for the draft. You don't anticipate those guys playing. There's going to be some other important decisions to make. Some of your veteran guys, your seniors, who this would be their last opportunity to put on the uniform again before going off to the NFL. But how many of those guys are going to play? Brian Kelly was asked, again, this was Wednesday, so the day before LSU hit the practice field. This is Brian Kelly being asked about bowl participation for his team.
We'll have some of the veterans that will play, and some have certainly made a decision that it's in their best interest not to play in the game. And, we try to provide as much information and I think we're pretty detailed and pretty transparent in terms of what we think is best for each one of our players. Here's what I know. The guys that will be fielding for this team will be 100% committed to getting a positive outcome. They'll be playing because they want to be playing. And that's really the most important thing, right? I mean, that you have a group of players that want to play for LSU and want to play to the standard.
When I look at the spots on the field that could be most impacted, either positive or negative, and remember, I already told you that I'm not really concerned so much with the outcome of the game. I know that sounds ridiculous, and Herm Edwards, you play to win the game, and that's true. I think everybody that's going to go out there and play is going to play really hard and play to win, and you may have some veterans play. But, for example, on Thursday, Sage Ryan entered the portal. That opens up a spot, in theory, for a young guy like Deshaun Spears to probably get out there and start this bowl game. And Spears is one of those guys who, I certainly talked about in fall camp glowingly. And I told you, he looks the part. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if Deshaun Spears, by the end of the season, had become a starter. And it actually kind of worked in reverse for Spears. He played a lot early in his true freshman season, but then, he saw his playing time really decrease as the season went along. But, that's a guy who, with Sage Ryan not there, very likely gets an opportunity to give it a go and have an opportunity to get out there and start. And safety is certainly a position that LSU is looking at in the transfer portal. They've already been connected to 3 players in the transfer portal. So this is an opportunity to say, okay, is Spears a guy that's going to be one of your starters for next year? You just look at his snap count. You had 2 snaps against Nichols, then had 28, against USC, 28 against Nichols, 44 against South Carolina, 37 against UCLA, 37 against South Alabama. And that was the point in the season where Brian Kelly said, we got to stop rolling guys in and out. We got to decide who our best guys are. After that, there was only one game the rest of the way where Spears played double-digit snaps. It was 13 snaps against A&M. 3 against Ole Miss, 5 against Arkansas, 8 against Alabama, 1 snap against Vanderbilt, didn't play against Oklahoma. So again, played a ton early, and they decided to go with the veteran guys late. Well, now Sage Ryan in the portal, this is an opportunity for a guy like Spears to go get 12 practices with the ones and start this bowl game to see how he does. Like that's one of those things that I think is significant. One more from Brian Kelly. On the offensive side, the most obvious spot, and I understand the offensive line, which I already kind of went through that. Even if your veterans play awesome, meaning Frazier and Dellinger, but if they don't, you still have bodies there that you feel like can play this game. And if they play, great, because at tackle, Tyree Adams can play left tackle and Weston Davis can play right tackle. And what an opportunity for those two young players to start and get all these reps. But really, you're losing 3 of your top 4 pass catchers, and obviously one of them being Mason Taylor. And then you've seen also Kamorian Pimpton hit the portal. Like, you don't have a scholarship tight end on the roster. So what do you do being down receivers and tight ends?
You have to be able to, get your team ready. And if you have to make some adjustments in terms of, what you do with your scheme, then you make those adjustments. And we're prepared to do so. Our offense is about the players, not the plays. And so, if we don't have a particular player, we get rid of that play and we highlight the players within the scheme. So we'll just do it a little bit differently, but we'll still be able to get the job done.
You could move Trey'Dez Green back to tight end. Bo Bordelon, who's kind of been one of those jumbo tight ends anyway, could help you in blocking situations at tight end. But at receiver, man, what a great opportunity for Aaron Anderson. We'll see if Kyron Lacey plays. We don't know. If he does, great. But if not, what an opportunity for Aaron Anderson, for Xavier Thomas, for Chris Hilton to continue to develop and emerge, provided he's coming back. So you're going to see some different faces featured, and that's the benefit. It's not the game. Of course, you want to win and all that sort of stuff, but it's more about these dozen practices where you're going to get so many with the deck cleared, with guys hitting the portal, other guys leaving for the draft. Other guys have the opportunity now to step up to practice, to get reps, to get focused on. And LSU's got to maximize this for a springboard into spring football. All right, it's After Further Review. Thursday show is presented by Decision Critical, concierge nursing service in Baton Rouge. It is healthcare for your lifestyle at Decision Critical. They always say, let Decision Critical be an extension of your physician services. Everything, these are private duty nurses that can help from when you come home from the hospital with your baby all the way to end-of-life care. Maybe you need someone to be there with you when you have surgery, to take you to and from surgery. They're not Uber, but if you need care, it can be difficult. Maybe you're a parent who's now caring for your elderly parents, and sometimes you need help during the day. Decision Critical, they're the best concierge nursing service in Baton Rouge. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Okay, let me knock out a break. About 15 minutes. Alondra, Pauly, and I will give you 3 things we're watching on the football weekend. Mike Triplett in 1 hour from right now. When we come back, though, the New Orleans Saints are back on the practice field today. A very well-known billionaire has made it known he wants to buy the New Orleans Saints. Is this something that could be a realistic option in the future? I want to talk about that next at AFR.
After Further Review.
Y'all, the holidays are here. Christmas parties are here. If you're having a Christmas party, a family get-together, or maybe you're going to be having a New Year's game watch around the LSU and Baylor game in the Texas Bowl, let our friends at Rouse's take care of the catering. Easy. Go to the website, rouses.com. Go to the app. Just download the Rouse's app. Or just walk into any Rouse's location. They got 70 of them from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, and everywhere in between. But when you go to the website, you'll see the Rouse's catering tag on the flipper on the homepage. And everything that we're talking about, from the mini muffalettas and the mini finger sandwiches and the meat pies and the boudin balls and the egg rolls and everything that you can eat for these catering trays for your Christmas party, for your holiday gathering, Rouse's has it. Hot, fresh, awesome. They can help you out. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints, rouses.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2025 Ram 1500 truck with $15,000 off MSRP. $15,000 off the newly designed Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
There's a potentially interesting story developing around one of the college football playoff teams. Shout out to, this was Mark Cumby, who tweeted me this link. I don't know who runs this Twitter account, but it's NFL Rookie Watch. They've got 150,000 followers. I mean, Andrew Whitworth, a lot of big accounts follow him. Again, I don't know. I don't know who runs this account. I don't know what their affiliation is or anything of the sort. What's interesting, though, about this post is, I'll read it. It's about Quinn Ewers, but it's short. So Quinn Ewers is reportedly debating returning to college football and foregoing the NFL draft yet again. However, Texas is reportedly ready to move on to Arch Manning next season, which would prompt Ewers to enter the transfer portal. Many NFL scouts believe Ewers could benefit from another year in college. Ewers has one more year of eligibility, would likely be spent with another top 10 team. I would like to point out, just very quickly, there are 3 times in this tweet that whoever runs this account put reportedly, but didn't cite the report. Like, who is reporting that? So I don't know if that's in any way accurate. It doesn't even matter if it's accurate, because I'm going to get to my point in a second. And yeah, I mean, I guess that was kind of like, I don't know who's reporting it. So to my point, though, I think Quinn Ewers will be an interesting test case for 2 reasons. Number one, if he stays in school, what that will illustrate further is what the going rate is for quarterbacks in the transfer portal. Starting quarterbacks. Because when you have accomplished starting quarterbacks electing to stay in college, like Garrett Nussmeier, like Dylan Gabriel did a year ago, won 10 games at Oklahoma, came back to school to go play at Oregon. Cam Ward stayed in school another year to go play at Miami. those guys are all getting 7-figure NIL deals. And I shared it with you. Garrett Nussmeier's deal is north of what LSU was willing to pay per year for Bryce Underwood. And I told you that was $1.5 million. Garrett Nussmeier is getting more than that to come back to LSU. And it's totally justified, by the way. Now, how they structure that, we'll see. Told you could front load deals now before Jan 1, the rev shares. There's a lot of different ways you could do it, but the point is, the players aren't dumb. They all have representatives, and the agents know. The agents know what the market is. They know what they can get on the market from power leagues that are quarterback needy that can get a guy like a Quinn Ewers and what they're willing to pay. So you're going to see a lot of guys maybe choose to stay in school longer because they can still make money, great money in school, maybe in some cases better than they would in the NFL. That's number one. But number two is the cautionary tale. And it's what I shared with you for this whole season about Oklahoma. Oklahoma had Jackson Arnold, 5-star quarterback who sat for a year and as a freshman, redshirted, and they were ready to turn the reins over to Arnold. And so they told Dillon Gabriel, thank you so much for the 10-win season. It's been real, but we're going to hand the reins to the kid, so you might want to hop in the portal. He did. He got a big NIL deal, went to Oregon. Now he's quarterbacking the undefeated number 1 team in the country. He's a Heisman finalist, and he's in the playoff. I don't know if you noticed, but Oklahoma went 500 this year. And Jackson Arnold is in the portal. Again, I'm going to continue to underscore and remind you, because and a lot of you know this, and you've seen it illustrated, but we are going to have this conversation as it pertains to Bryce Underwood, and we'll see how Underwood's career plays out at Michigan. But there are so many examples, mounting examples, of why you don't overspend for a high school quarterback. Oh, you'll do it if you're Miami for Cam Ward. You'll do it if you're Oregon for Dillon Gabriel. You'll do it if you're whoever might get Quinn Ewers next year. You'll do it if you're LSU to keep Garrett Nussmeier for his 5th season. Yes, you'll do it then. Is it worth doing for the kid that hasn't taken a snap? Time and time again, the answer continues to suggest no. But this is going to be another interesting thing for Texas. Arch got his feet wet this year. And they're a good coaching staff and a good roster, and he may end up being great. But you're going to kick the guy to the curb that's got a ton of experience and has got you in the playoff a year ago and got you back in the playoff this year. Just a cautionary tale, man. The grass isn't always greener. We'll see what happens there. All right, brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. That's me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and Joe Morales, Trent Davis. Our whole staff was over at the office earlier today. You know, we've been very, very blessed. You know, we made a pivot this year and started our own company in Parish, and we've been received so well. I love all the text messages I get from some of you who are riding around town. You see our Parish trucks. You take a photo of the truck and you'll send it to me. You'll tweet me. A lot of you love the jingle. Maybe you're driving down I-10. You see our Parish office on I-10 at Highland directly across from Blue Bayou. You can't miss it at night with the big, beautiful sign lit up. But we're thrilled to be community partners. We're thrilled to help so many homeowners and business owners as well, whether it's a commercial or residential job. Do business with someone you know. We say it all the time. We actually got our crews this weekend getting started on a re-roof at a school down in the greater New Orleans area. I'd rather not say the name of the school. There's a church in Ascension Parish we're doing some roof work for this week. Another school in Baton Rouge that we're going to be doing some work for coming up here shortly. So it doesn't matter how big the commercial job or how small the residential repair, anything in between, we'd love to help you out. Do business with someone you know. It's Parish Construction and Roofing. Parishbuilt.com. Go to parishbuilt.com. Just fill out the form on the homepage. Tillman Fertitta, who you probably know the name, he's a billionaire who owns the Landry's empire, the restaurants, who also owns the Houston Rockets. Tillman Fertitta gave an interview with Chandler France of the Houston Business Journal and said that he wants to buy the New Orleans Saints. Quote, I've always loved the New Orleans Saints, but she, Mrs. Benson, won't sell them right now. Gail Benson is 77 years old. She has no heirs. And about 3-4 years ago, back in 2021, in her will, Gail Benson named Dennis Lauscha, the Saints team president, the executor of her estate. So whenever she dies, Lauscha will be responsible for executing the sale of the New Orleans Saints, with the contractual caveat being that the team must remain in New Orleans. I don't know if that's legally binding or even possible. If someone buys the team, what they want to do with the team, it feels like they could do. But anyway, it's worth mentioning because Fertitta does own the Houston Rockets, so he is already the owner of a professional sports franchise. So in theory here, he would not be interested in buying the Pelicans because he already owns the Houston Rockets. And he tried to buy the Washington Commanders in this most recent go-round. He offered $4.4 billion, and the Commanders sold for $6 billion. The Saints presently are valued at $4.4 billion, according to a Forbes estimate. You know, I was thinking about the possibility of Tillman Fertitta owning the New Orleans Saints, and it's just interesting because for my entire life, the Bensons have owned the Saints. I mean, I was born in 1982. John Meekum was the founding owner in 1967, and he owned the Saints until 84 when he sold to Tom Benson, who owned the team from the 85 season until his death. And now, since 2018, Gail Benson has been the sole owner of the team. But the Saints, despite their historical lack of success on the field, have had stability in ownership. And we just haven't had to have the conversation much about a sale of the franchise and what may happen. Now, Tillman Fertitta is 67 years old. Again, Gail Benson is 77, and I don't know how much longer she lives, and hopefully she lives another 20 years, lives a long, healthy, wonderful life. And maybe by that time, Tillman Fertitta is no longer interested in buying the New Orleans Saints. But he's worth $11 billion. He could do it. And I think I would rather a sole owner than an ownership group where pieces of the organization are divvied up a little bit. The only thing that I could think that might be better, and one of the things I do like about Tillman Fertitta, is he is an owner that is pot committed to winning. He will spend money to win. That's what he wants to do. He does the same thing at the University of Houston, where he's heavily invested. I mean, he built the University of Houston a basketball arena. So, I mean, their new on-campus football stadium. I mean, there's so many amazing reasons to think that would be awesome. A long time, hopefully, till we even have to consider that. But, I would worry about him moving the team. I mean, he is based in Houston, and while Houston has a team, San Antonio doesn't. And that was something Tom Benson explored around the time for Hurricane Katrina, was moving the Saints to San Antonio. Of course, the NFL nixed that. Shout out Paul Tagliabue. And I don't know that there's a Louisiana-based ownership group, at least not now, presently, that could or would be interested in buying the New Orleans Saints. Now, again, this is all a presumptive and preemptive conversation because Gail Benson is very much alive and appears very healthy, and it doesn't sound like this is a conversation that needs to be had for some time. But it is interesting when you see a man worth $11 billion saying he's made his interest known in buying the New Orleans Saints, and you can't help but wonder if Mrs. Benson may, before she dies, sell the team. I don't know that that's likely, but it's just a conversation worth filing away for a rainy day and an eventuality of that conversation having to be had. But Tillman Fertitta would be something I'd be on board with, sans a Louisiana-based ownership group that would be willing to keep the team here. All right, let me knock out a break. We'll come back. Thursday shows are presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing Service, decisioncriticalbr.com. Feeling under the weather with cold and flu? Man, IV hydration is an awesome option. And again, these are concierge nurses, so they come to you. They'll come to your home. They'll come to your office. They'll come anywhere. They came in studio and gave me an IV about a month ago. DecisionCriticalBR.com, DecisionCriticalBR.com. Okay, quick break. We'll come back. We'll do What to Watch. We'll do Tigers and the Pros. Mike Triplett in about 45 minutes. Stick around. It's AFR.
After further review.
Action Industries is a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Over at Action Industries, since 1982, they serve the petrochemical and refinery markets in the state. All those plants up and down the river. We all know what oil and gas and the petrochemical market means for our state's economy, certainly for our greater Baton Rouge area as well. Well, Action Industries has been right in the heart of that, right in the middle of that for more than 40 years. What you may not know, however, is that Action Industries has a turnaround division called the Advanced Turnaround Group. These aren't people they take from other divisions and dump them into turnaround work. These are people, both managers and skilled labor, who specialize in turnaround work. So when turnaround season comes around and you're looking for companies to bid on your job, remember Action Industries and the Advanced Turnaround Group. You can learn more at actionindinc.com for Action Industries Incorporated. Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Darin. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Rolling along here on a Thursday. Been a good one. Talk a little bit more about Sage Ryan jumping in the portal. Coming up here in about 25 minutes from right now, top of hour 3, what it means for LSU at safety. Kind of do a portal roundup. Who's the newest names in the portal. Kind of doing this every day, just kind of catching you up with everything you need to know. And then maybe more importantly, the players that are confirmed to be visiting LSU. So we'll delve into all that coming up at the top of hour 3 in about 23 minutes from right now. Okay, Muse isn't here. Alondra's in, but that will not deter us. It is still a football weekend. So Alondra, Paulie, and I will give you 3 things we're watching on this football weekend. We call it What to Watch. Hit it.
Here's what we're watching this football weekend.
All righty then. Alondra, would you like to... Muse usually does the honors and starts us off.
Okay,
so you have to fade that out and fade up the bed.
Yeah, hold on,
you fade that down. Yep, there it is.
There we go.
That's the one.
Okay. Oh, it is? I just clicked literally any single one.
Yeah, you tried to hum it in the break for us.
Yeah.
How did that go?
I don't know. I was like, dude.
Nailed it.
Honestly, I can sing, and y'all don't know that about me.
Really?
Yeah.
Prove it.
No, I can't. I actually can't. That was a lie. So what I am watching this weekend is the obvious one. Army versus Navy. The pageantry, the rivalry. Army's ranked.
The bad football.
And, yeah. I mean, I'll take it. I'll watch it.
Sure.
I don't care. So I'm excited for Army versus Navy just for, like, all of the, traditional stuff.
Army's gotten legit good. It's weird. Navy
Yeah.
won like 15 in a row or something like that because Army was just really bad. Now it's sort of flipped.
Yeah.
Army's better. So
I know.
They are better, but for a long time it was just very bad football.
Yeah. So
Take the under. Hadn't the under hit like 37 times in a row or something in that game?
For Army or for the
game?
For this game?
The game total.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know.
It's always like you always play the under in Army Navy.
Yeah.
It always ends up like 10-3.
Yeah. So that's fine that's my first one. Army versus Navy.
Okay. Polly.
More bad football.
Yep.
So I won't necessarily be watching, but I am interested in the result. Jets versus Jaguars. They're both 3-10 in the NFL. There's 6 teams with 3 losses, 2 teams with 2 losses. So the loser of this game could potentially be in the mix for the number 1 overall pick. Jets, Aaron Rodgers, not so good this year. Jags are without Trevor Lawrence. Mac Jones will get the start.
Tonight's game, Thursday Night Football, it's a battle for the NFC West, which has actually gotten really competitive. So the Rams are surging. They beat the Saints, and then obviously this past week they beat Buffalo in a high-scoring game, and they had the highest-graded offense from Pro Football Focus in the NFL since Week 9. So the Rams are coming on. They play the 49ers tonight. Niners, despite their struggle, actually a 3-point favorite. They're at home, but a 3-point favorite over the Rams. Big one in the NFC West.
All right, next one that I'm going to be watching, Bucks versus Chargers, which who would have thought that that'd be an interesting game, but it is.
Me.
Well, this season.
Yeah, me.
I meant like in the past, like the Chargers were non-factors. Yeah. So, I mean, Jim Harbaugh is out here.
I picked the Bucks to win the division, the Chargers to make the playoffs.
Oh, nice.
I'm right. I'm on it.
You.
I didn't get a lot right. I got that.
Yeah.
Well, it's not settled yet. But.
Well, I mean, there's playoff implications in this game, so I am going to be watching Bucks versus Chargers this weekend.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. You got to be quicker on
I know.
the there, Alondra.
That's on me.
Yeah, that's certainly not on me. It's definitely on you.
I know.
I'm the one over there with the buttons.
I can't
You know what, actually? Instead of being mad at you for that, Alondra, I'm going to be mad at Muse. Because for, I don't know, 3 years I've told him,
put it on a hotkey.
Put it on a friggin' hotkey!
Put it on a hotkey. What are we doing? Why do I have to be aware of the ads?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, anyway.
Probably the biggest game of the NFL weekend. I'm going to be watching Bills and Lions.
Moose isn't even here and he's screwing up the
I know.
show. Right, Paulie?
Come on, Moose.
Tell you what,
Jeez,
that guy.
Moose. It is
right now.
past 420, yeah.
Anyway, Lions.
Nothing subtle about Paul saying he's probably high right
I know, I'm like past 420.
Oh, man. All right, go ahead, Paulie, go.
Lions 12-1, Bills 10-3. The Lions have won 11 straight. They have not lost since week 2. Josh Allen and Jared Goff in the MVP race, so it should be a good game. Bills, Lions.
There is no reason anybody should watch the Cowboys and the Panthers. Those are terrible teams and they stink. But it's interesting because Carolina is favored for the first time since week 15 of 2022. It's been 2 years since Carolina was favored in the football. That's how bad the Dallas Cowboys are right now. But it is Cooper Rush season, you heard. Anyway, that's it. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm not going to spend any more time talking about that.
My last one is also a bad one. Well, kind of. Saints versus Commanders. It might get a little frisky out there, but love JD5, so I'll watch any game that he's going to play in. Darren Rizzi's got me a little fired up, too. So, I don't know. That's the game. The third and last game I'm going to be well, I'll probably watch other ones. But Saints versus Commanders.
Got it.
Kind of a sneaky, under-the-radar game that two teams no one's really talking about but are really good are the Steelers and the Eagles.
Yep.
Steelers 10-3, Eagles 11-2. They've won 9 straight. Eagles did have a little tiff, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, they've won 9 in a row, and all the talking heads are saying that the Eagles there's internal. I'm like, they've won 9 in a row. Shut up.
Yeah.
Stop fabricating stories.
I don't get it. So anyway, yeah. That's my
Sorry, I thought you were done.
All good. And bowl season starts this weekend, y'all. And there is Army-Navy a week later than normal because obviously Army was playing in the conference championship. But the Cricket Celebration Bowl with Jackson State and South Carolina State at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Hotlanta at noon on ABC Saturday. And then the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl with South Alabama and Western Michigan down in Montgomery, Alabama at Crampton Bowl.
Crampton
I guess
Bowl?
that's the name of the stadium, Crampton Bowl.
Okay.
Montgomery is what? I mean, would that be? What is it? What is in Montgomery? What is the Crampton Bowl in Montgomery?
Oh no.
What stadium would that be? There's not a team in Montgomery.
Is it with a K?
Crampton,
oh,
with a C.
With a C.
Cram.
Okay.
Crampton
Bowl, Montgomery. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, what you got over there? See, this would normally be where I'd have to tell Muse, hey,
a baseball
Google that.
stadium.
Oh.
And it was home to MLB spring training and minor league training. However, today it's mostly for American football. I guess they just practice there. There's
Got
not
it.
like a set.
No team calls at home?
No.
Okay. Anyway, South Alabama and Western Michigan in the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. And I'll remind you yet again, for everyone who says, there's too many bowl games. No, there's not. What are you going to be doing Saturday? What's going on Saturday? I don't know. Your significant other is going to be running around spending money on Christmas presents, shopping frantically, fighting crowds. You know what I'm going to be doing? While Erica's running around buying presents, you know what I'm going to be doing?
Crampton Bowl.
I'm going to sit my ass on my couch drinking beer, watching the Cricket Celebration Bowl, the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl, Army. I'll be watching football because it's going to go away soon. And so binge on it as much as you can and stop complaining. Everybody knows that they're glorified exhibitions. Nobody thinks they're significant, but it's football on TV, so watch it and stop complaining.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth and stop complaining. And watch that Cricket Celebration Bowl. All right, there you have it. That's what we're watching this weekend. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit because First South Farm Credit, since 1916, more than 100 years, First South Farm Credit has done one thing, and they've done it better than anyone else. First South Farm Credit helps Louisianians buy land. Not just agriculture. Yes, roughly half the business is ag, but it means the other half is people buying 20 acres to build their family's dream home. That could be you. Or buying that recreational property. Tired of sharing a hunting lease? Get your own. First South Farm Credit can help you happen. Also, help that happen. Also, tax benefits. As a landowner, you incur expenses. I would highly recommend you ask your CPA about the benefits of owning recreational timberland. Land is a finite resource. It is never going down in value. First South Farm Credit can help you buy it. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. Okay. Alondra will do the honors on Tigers and the Pros when we come back, since Muse isn't here. And then we get to our portal roundup to start hour number 3. Mike Triplett will be here as well. I haven't reacted to the LSU 2025 football schedule yet. I'll get to that in hour 3. Jimmy will be here for Autter Locks. Autter Locks, by the way, are already posted up at LouisianaSports.net if you're interested. You can get Otter's picks right now. They're already posted at LouisianaSports.net. Bookmark it. Make sure you go there. Everything at LouisianaSports.net. Free, always, every day, everything, always free. LouisianaSports.net. All right. Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darin, James & Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. Like I always say, Darin sells more homes than anyone. And if you're thinking of buying a home, why would you call anyone other than the realtor that sells more homes than anyone? And one of the things, of course, that sets Darin above and beyond is every day he does daily radio ads to promote his listings. Your home, like this one that Darin just posted yesterday on West Fairview Drive in Baton Rouge, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a shade under 2,200 square feet for $230,000. You want to check it out? You can. It doesn't matter if it's a $200,000 home or a $2 million home and anything in between. Darin will get your home sold faster for more money, guaranteed. So call Darin James today, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darin James.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Things back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Glad you're rolling along with us. Driving home, buckle up, drive safely. We'll get you there. Mike Triplett coming up here in about 25 minutes from right now. We'll talk about Sage Ryan hitting the portal coming up after SportsCenter. Right now, though, Alondra. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Really rich.
Okay, I hadn't heard you the thing yet, but
they're really rich now?
Yeah, any of it. So one quick little scoring note before I get to the real drama. The Houston Rockets.
Wait. You've been in here since we made that change at the start of football season.
But I don't think I did Tigers in the pros the last time
well, you said any of it, so not just that.
Oh, I just didn't hear Tigers in the pros yet.
Okay.
Yeah, and they kind of threw me off a little bit.
Got it.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yes, Houston Rockets got a real close win over Golden State last night, 91-90. Our guy Tari Eason got 24 minutes in that game, 7 boards, 1 assist, and 9 points in that win last night. What?
That was one of the Autter locks
was
last
it?
night. I'm trying to think. He had, what was the final?
91-90, Rockets.
Can't remember if we had the Rockets laying 2.5. Dog it.
Almost.
We won with the Atlanta Hawks, however.
let's go.
So 1-1 last night on the Autter locks.
All right, I like it.
Oh, how about that? The Hawks, we were getting 8 outright winner. Winner, chicken dinner.
Shout out Otter Locks. Make sure you're listening. Okay, but the real good drama that's been going on. Joe Burrow, we all probably know by now that his house was broken into while he was playing versus the Cowboys in Dallas. And The real drama is where it gets to who made the 911 call.
Okay.
So when it was first reported, they said it was an employee's mother that made the 911 call, and it was like, oh, the housekeeper, her daughter stays there when Joe is out of town, whatever. Turns out, wasn't the housekeeper's daughter. It was Sports Illustrated swimsuit model / Instagram influencer Olivia Ponton, I think is how you say her last name.
Let's go, Joey B.
I mean, he's just switching between Olivias. So, like, that's like his, like, first girlfriend while he was here during LSU and all that.
Was who?
Her name was Olivia Holzmacher. So,
how do you know this?
Well, because I've been reading on all the drama. Yeah, so girls, we love drama. I know that I work on here, but like I'm still a girl at the end of the day, and I love me some juicy drama.
You're just a really cool guy.
Yeah, just a chill guy. Have you seen that meme?
No.
The chill guy? Okay, I'll show it to you. But anyway, yes, Joe Burrow, who likes to keep his life very private, all his dirty laundry out because someone broke into his house. He commented on it. He expressed frustration over his privacy being invaded and everything. He addressed it today in a press conference.
I mean, so is he upset that people? So what is? So are you saying that he's got multiple girlfriends, or he's got like a side piece?
So like they broke up.
Okay.
But like he's just super private, so people didn't know that. So it looks right. So it looks kind of. And also, you went from one Olivia to another. Like, come on.
I mean, I don't think that's super.
I think that's a
big deal. I mean, you can't control what somebody's name is.
No, you can't. But if I was her, I'd be like, ugh. I'd be like, ouch.
Because they had the same name?
Yeah, and she's a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model.
I mean, that's kind of awesome, right?
For him.
Yeah. So what's the problem?
No, there's no problem.
It's his life. He's dating a he's dating a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the problem here.
I didn't say there's a problem.
Here?
I didn't think there's a problem. I'm just saying that's what the drama is. That's what the tea is. The smoke on the street.
What does that mean, the tea?
The tea. It came from that Kermit the Frog meme where he's sipping tea. And he's like, that's none of my business, though. So now tea is like gossip.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You need to come back more often, Alondra. You're teaching me stuff. Muse never teaches me anything. He's very bad at trivia.
Yeah.
I guess I learned this
y'all
stuff.
should have had me for trivia.
See, I get to go and learn. Now I get to go on the streets and be hip.
Yeah.
Hip with the lingo and the jargon.
Well, don't say hip.
With the kids. Okay, hour 3 next.
AFR.
You can't say hip. Fly.
I wouldn't say hip.
Fly?
I mean, fly. I mean, I guess that would play.
What would you say?
Lit.
Lit.
Yeah, it's lit.
Okay. It's lit. You know what's lit? South Point Volkswagen. It's pretty hip to drive a Volkswagen.
Sure.
It's cool.
It's lit.
Is there any other adjective I could use? I can't just keep saying lit over and over.
It's like, just say cool. It's awesome.
When Carly worked with us, she would say slay all the time.
Yes.
She taught me what slay was.
South Point slays.
Do people still say slay?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've gotten decidedly less cool since Carly doesn't work on the show anymore. She kept me cool. South Point Volkswagen, it's lit. South Point slays. South Point, how about this? SLEIGH, slays. Christmas pun, get it? It's a homonym. No, homophone. Sounds the same, spelled differently. South Point Volkswagen.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The University of North Carolina introduces new head coach Bill Belichick today at 72. He's now the oldest active coach in FBS. After all his success, why is he still working?
My dad told me this: when you love what you do, it's not work. I love what I do. I love coaching. I love the interaction with the players. I love building a team, working with assistants, game planning, the game itself. There's some good ones, there's some bad ones, but they're all learning experience and working with young kids who, with the energy, enthusiasm to want to be good, to want to be successful. It's great every day to wake up and come into that environment.
Bill Belichick, who calls his first college coaching job a dream come true. ESPN's Pete Thamel reports former Florida and Mississippi State head coach Dan Mullen will be the new head coach at UNLV. He's expected to get a 5-year deal. NFL Week 15 kicks off tonight in Santa Clara. The 6-7 49ers host the 7-6 Rams. The 49ers activate linebacker Dre Greenlaw for his season debut tonight. Adam Schefter says Nick Bosa is likely to play too.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right. Woo!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing in Baton Rouge. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Malandra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Mike Triplett here in about 15 minutes from right now. As soon as the show ends today, I'm going to jet over to Calandro's. We do have the Calandro's Rare Whiskey Raffle. Today, you've heard Charles Handegriff promoting it throughout the day. Of course, we had Taylor yesterday. It's one of our great events that we're partnered with every single year. You buy tickets for the opportunity to purchase rare whiskeys at fair market value, fair retail value, I should say. And all the money raised from the ticket sales goes to benefit the 4Kids Foundation, which is redistributed to children's charities throughout the state. And then, of course, St. Lillian Academy, which is where my son Drew attends. It's an awesome school for special needs kiddos, and they do an amazing job at St. Lillian. And really appreciate Taylor and Mark Calandro and all the Calandros. I shouldn't just single out those two, but all of them for doing a great thing for some great charities and using a lot of people's love of whiskey to do it, and maybe get your hands on a great bottle. So get on by Calandros. It's not too late. You can get your tickets all the way up until 6 o'clock, so less than an hour to go on ticket sales for the Calandros Rare Whiskey Raffle. Another day has brought another LSU player jumping in the portal, and Sage Ryan has been a bit of a lightning rod for LSU fans throughout his time in Baton Rouge. And my stance on Sage Ryan, my stance on Sage Ryan has been pretty consistent. He was a convenient target for LSU fans throughout his 4 years in Baton Rouge. But I have maintained Sage Ryan during his 4 years in Baton Rouge has been a consummate team guy. He was a 5-star coming out of high school, and he didn't ask for the star rating. But whenever someone has 5-star next to their name, the expectation dramatically ramps up. Fair or unfair, that's what happened. Sage Ryan came to Baton Rouge as a freshman in 2021, had hamstring issues that cost him his season, so he redshirted in 2021. In 2022, remember Brian Kelly's first year, they brought in a whole bunch of transfer portal guys in the secondary. They brought in Jark Bernard-Converse and Mekhi Gardner and Greg Brooks and Joe Fouché. And Sage Ryan, as a result, played nickel. That is not his natural position. He is a safety, but he played nickel because the coaches asked him to play nickel. And then in 2023, when you whiffed on all of those cornerbacks in the portal, Deuce Chestnut and Denver Harris and J.K. Johnson got injured, Zy Alexander worked out. They asked Sage Ryan, because he was athletic and could run and tackle, to play boundary corner. He's not a boundary corner. He's a safety. But 3 years into his career, Sage Ryan had been injured. He played nickel, then he played boundary corner. It wasn't until this year, his fourth in the program, that he finally played safety. Now, you can roll your eyes and say, well, he wasn't very good at safety this year. And I would agree that LSU's safety play this year was not very good. However, Sage Ryan was the fourth highest rated defensive starter on LSU's team this year, according to Pro Football Focus. Braden Swinson was your highest graded starter, followed by Zy Alexander, Savion Jones, and then Sage Ryan. Sage Ryan was one spot ahead of Whit Weeks this year in his defensive grade from Pro Football Focus. I'm not telling you, like I always say, PFF isn't the metric, it's a metric. But there were times where Sage Ryan was good this year. Collectively, defensively, you weren't very good. And your safety play was not. But if I were to go to the opposite end of the spectrum, your two lowest graded starters were Major Burns and Jordan Gilbert. Guys that also played safety for you. I'm not sitting here telling you Sage Ryan was an all-conference performer. And because you have to improve at safety, you're very clearly, all these reports, you're going into the portal looking for starting safety help. Probably one of the reasons why Sage Ryan is going to go play somewhere else. Because his job security is threatened. Maybe he wants to feel like he can go get paid. Now, a year ago, Sage Ryan went into the portal, if you remember. He did go into the portal a year ago. And he, as I understand the story, had a big NIL ask. LSU said, no, thank you. He went into the transfer portal. Maybe the interest wasn't as robust as he had thought or hoped. And so he came back to LSU and ended up playing safety and having a nice season. Maybe he's testing the market again to see if he could try to capitalize. I wish him well. But for LSU now, you look and say, okay, what's going to happen there at safety? Because for me, as I often say it, you have wants and needs and musts. Like I identify like running back as a want. It's not a need. You're returning Caden Durham. You're bringing in 2 running backs, including the number 1 running back in the country. You move Juwan Johnson, a running back. Trey Holly could come back, don't know. But the point is, you're not in a dire position at running back. You'd like to have another one, but it's not super imperative. I've listed linebacker as a need. Offensive line as a need. Musts, like non-negotiable. You got to go sign a tight end, probably multiple. You got to go sign a receiver, probably multiple. You got to go get better at safety. That is an absolute must. And if you subscribe to actions speak louder than words, I mean, look at what they're doing. Hat tip, this is Steve Wiltfong over at On3, who's their national recruiting analyst. Steve Wiltfong and Shea Dixon from On3 collaborated on a report. Shea was with us here on the show on Tuesday, and he told us about Zechariah Poyser. Zechariah Poyser is a safety from Jacksonville State, one of the top players in the portal, and he's going to be visiting LSU, Auburn, and Florida. So LSU's in the mix for one of the top safeties in the portal. The number 1 safety in the portal is Dylan Thieneman from Purdue. According to Steve Wiltfong, Thieneman will visit Oregon, Ohio State, and he's having dialogue presently with LSU. The Tigers are on the short list, and they're trying to get him to campus for a visit. So when you see that LSU is very much in the mix for 2 of the premier safeties in the portal, the writing's on the wall. And actions speak louder than words. You can tell me whatever you want, but when you're actively pursuing top portal safeties, clearly you know you need to improve at that position. The other one, a wild card that I threw out to you earlier in the week, is Jacoby Matthews. We all know Jacoby Matthews' story. He was a 5-star from Ponchatoula, went to Texas A&M, was a starter not this season but last year. Entered the transfer portal in the spring window, was looking at Ole Miss and LSU. Because it was the spring window, he couldn't transfer within the conference, so he didn't play football in 2024. Jacoby Matthews didn't. But as I understand it, I received a couple phone calls earlier this week that he is looking to play football in 2025, very likely in the SEC. It would make sense the 2 schools that I just mentioned he was looking at in the spring with Ole Miss and LSU could be potential spots there. Again, I don't have anything further, just that Matthews wants to play. LSU would have been interested in the spring. You're looking at a safety now. Why not again? So in any event, Dylan Thieneman, the Purdue safety, who we haven't talked about yet, is interesting. On3 ranks him as the number 1 safety in the portal. He was a freshman All-American in 2023. Actually, the Football Writers Association of America voted him the National Defensive Freshman of the Year. Remember, Caleb Downs last year at Alabama was a freshman. Started at safety at Alabama a year ago. And the Football Writers Association of America voted Thieneman from Purdue the National Defensive Freshman of the Year. So that's the kind of player. This year as a sophomore, as a freshman, he had 106 tackles. As a sophomore, 104 tackles, a sack, 4.5 TFLs, and 6 passes defended. So you're talking about a dude that is a plug-and-play starter at safety, which is certainly a position of need. So on one hand, Sage Ryan entering the portal, that's a guy who'd played a lot of football for you. Sage Ryan started 21 games. He played in 43 during his LSU career. 43 games played, 21 games started. He played nickel and boundary corner and safety, played all over. You're going to lose a lot of experience, but you might be upgrading there if you can land one of these portal safeties. So that's one to follow as we move throughout this portal cycle. The positions of need are very obvious for LSU, and safeties among them. I referenced that Steve Wiltfong report. A couple other things we've already told you. Jakeem Jackson, the cornerback from Florida, they're reporting he arrived on campus Wednesday for his visit. Everyone's projecting Jakeem Jackson to end up at LSU. We talked about Will Helt, the Purdue defensive end. He got to LSU on Wednesday. He'll go to Texas A&M this weekend, then presumably make a decision. Jamari Butler, the edge out of Nebraska, visit LSU's battling Texas A&M also for Jamari Butler. What else was on there? One more. Oh, this is one more that On3 reported. Purdue tight end Max Clare, Klare, is expected to visit LSU this weekend per Shea Dixon. So LSU is in the mix, very much in the mix for some of the top players in the portal. Oklahoma wide receiver Nick Anderson is expected on campus Sunday. So LSU, as expected, very much in the mix for some of the top players in this portal cycle. You have to close them. I'll continue to say it again. Ask me in a month. Ask me in a month, the end of December, when the portal window closes and we have a much better sense of what the roster looks like for 2025. Ask me in a month. But so far, the returns, early returns, are good. You're in the mix for top players at gigantic positions of need. Now you got to close them. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Michelli. Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. Michelli.com. At Michelli, we show the world what measurement can do. If you weigh or measure something, at Michelli, they sell, service, rent the products that you use to weigh and measure. Go to Michelli.com, Michelli.com to learn more about all the different services that they offer. Everyone knows Michelli for scales, our nation's largest distributor of scales. What you may not know is all the other things they do at Michelli. It's all about your precision measurement devices that they can calibrate. You know, sometimes turnaround, something that should take 7 to 10 days, you ship it to Chicago, could take 8 to 10 weeks. Save time, be more efficient, work with a local option. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Okay, quick break. We'll come back, talk some Who-Dat. Mike Triplett from New Orleans Football will be here. Saints get ready to welcome in the Commanders. Latest on Alvin Kamara's status. Who's going to play quarterback for the Saints? That's probably paramount. They still haven't made that announcement. We'll ask Mike when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan injury attorneys, of course, few in our community as generous as Gordon McKernan. We always tell you about, of course, if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. But, of course, we always encourage you as well to go to GordonGives.com. That's GordonGives.com. It's the charitable arm of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorney. So when we talk about the bike giveaway, right? Gordon giving away 488 bicycles to less fortunate children across the state of Louisiana. You'll see a lot of the posts on social media of the bike giveaways. There'll be more this weekend, and you'll see some of that social media post starting next week. That all the NIL deals that Gordon's done, you know, breast cancer awareness during October. Every year I have the chance to MC the Buddy Walk for Down Syndrome Awareness Group, and Gordon's always a great sponsor of that as well. Just great community partners over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured, you know what to do. GetGordon.com. Go to Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you in a new 2025 Ram 1500 truck with $15,000 off MSRP. $15,000 off the newly designed Ram 1500 truck. All new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
Mike! Yeah?
New Orleans Saints coverage with some Mad Libs mixed in.
Why don't you just go by Mike?
It's time to talk black and gold with Mike Triplett of New Orleans Football. Presented by Benny's Car Wash. Family owned and operated since 1951.
Saints and Commanders this weekend. Mike Triplett, good enough to join us. How are you, man? Oh, no. Is the phone acting up again, Alondra? Mike, can you hear me? All right, Alondra's talking to him off air. We'll see. All right. Mike? I mean, I hear background on his phone. I hear something. Okay, hang up and call him back. Hang up the phone. Hang up, call him back. Okay, thank you. All right, I want to talk to Mike. I don't know what's going on with the phones today, and it's annoying. I apologize. I want to ask Mike, who's going to play quarterback this weekend, an update on Alvin Kamara, and what the Saints specifically are playing for at this point. So we'll hopefully be able to reconnect with Mike Triplett. I'll buy a quick moment here while Alondra tries to reconnect with Mike. The injury report for today, if you missed it, just knocking off work and jumping aboard with us here. No significant changes from yesterday. Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, DeMarco Jackson, all still absent. The one downgrade was Bub Means with his ankle, was limited Wednesday and then did not practice on Thursday. So the good news would be Tano Passanio, who could be in line to make his season debut. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, let's try it again. Mike, how are you? Okay, did he call us? Did you call him?
I called him.
Okay, see if he can call us. Let's try it that way. We'll try one more time. And please let Bo know that we're having these issues. All right, I apologize. I'll pivot and move on, but please see if we can get Mike to call. We'll see. I did also want to talk about the LSU schedule reaction. So we'll get to that. I plan to do that in the next segment. If we can't get Mike, I'll do it here. But the one other thing that I wanted to get to as well, with Emery Jones going into the portal, a lot of draft declarations as well. You're starting to see more mock drafts with more draft declarations. Field Yates over to ESPN has a mock draft up. Has Will Campbell going 9 overall to the Chicago Bears. It's going to be very interesting to follow Campbell, and then also what may happen with Emery Jones. He's entered the draft today. We'll see if he rises up draft boards or if he settles somewhere as a day 2 pick, which feels more likely right now. As for the Saints, at 5-8 right now, if the draft were held today, the Saints would pick 10th. And Field Yates projects the Saints to take Mykel Williams, the edge out of Georgia. Look, you got to get better. The Saints are 28th in the NFL in pass rush win rate. So not very good at rushing the passer. Chase Young only signed for 1 season, so you may need help there, but do you want to go back to defensive line? We'll see. All right, we'll try it one more time. Mike, you got me?
I think so.
Hey.
I think this is it.
Okay. Thank the baby Jesus. It's a Christmas miracle. And the Christmas Jesus is my favorite Jesus.
We had to bring in an interim phone call.
Oh my God. It's been a day with the phone, so I'm glad we got it. Okay, let's start with the obvious one everyone wants to know. Who's going to play quarterback for the Saints Sunday against Washington?
I would be pretty surprised if it's not Jake Haener. I think we've gotten hints reporting-wise, but also if I was just making the guess based on common sense and intuition, there's no reason why it wouldn't be his turn after Spencer Rattler didn't put a stranglehold on the job and got benched and replaced by Haener, and Haener remained the number 2. Rizzi came in, and if he wanted to make a change then, he probably would have made a change then, didn't. So I'm going to guess Haener for all those reasons, although, part of the reason being they are still operating as a team that, is making every decision based on 2024 right now. If he loses a couple games, they're mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. I would not rule out then, hey, let's get him a couple more looks at Rattler. But that's up to Haener to try to hold that at bay.
So how do you feel about that if they do go to Haener instead of back to Rattler? I mean, the 3-game sample size, it's not a very large sample size to make a decision on Rattler.
Yeah, it doesn't end Rattler's future. It doesn't end the hope for Rattler's career or any of those things. I would say, though, I never fully understood, and it was never fully explained why they did the silly thing that Haener was the number 2. But then when it came time to actually start a guy, they went with Rattler. I mean, I don't know if some of that is political. I don't know if that is some people's feelings. I don't know if that's hierarchy and pecking order and, how you manage a depth chart. I don't know what it is. But I do know that after Rattler started those 3 games, if you wanted to be like, all right, no, look, let's continue to develop. Let's get him ready to play some more. The best thing for him would have been to continue to have him stay as the number 2 from that point forward. Throwing him back in here now after he has been inactive for the last 5 weeks, I mean, it just wouldn't make any sense to me. Like, you haven't been getting him ready to be the next man up. So, I don't know that it would behoove Rattler to get thrown back in with a choppy, the way that they're doing it. So now he'll be the backup for a couple weeks. Maybe we'll see him again before the season is over. Still a lot of possibilities as far as that goes. But Haener's the guy they've been grooming to be one snap away, and he's been one snap away. He's entered 3 games over the last 5 weeks. Go with the guy you've been preparing for this, I think, in this situation. I don't want to, give up on Rattler's future. I get the idea of wanting to see more of Rattler heading into next year, but you don't have to throw him in this week to satisfy that.
I mean, I don't think there's an answer to this question, but maybe just an update to what you know. What about Derek Carr? Like, do we see him again this year?
Yeah, I mean, they're not putting him on IR, and I think part of that is, they want to keep hope alive that they're still relevant. If they pull out some miracle wins, if the Buccaneers keep losing, whatever, they're not going to just end the possibility of that. I would think if they do get eliminated from the playoffs, I would think, in the next week or 2 while he's recovering, I would think, well, it doesn't make a lot of sense to bring him back at that point, although Week 17 is against the Raiders, which will obviously mean a lot to him. So I think they're keeping all that alive, but I would say they would. I would expect to see him again if they were still alive. If they pull off a surprise win here, definitely if they pull off a surprise win in Green Bay, and then they have 2 winnable games to finish the season, I would expect to see Derek Carr before the season's over. Way more of a mystery if they actually get finally mathematically eliminated, and you can't help but say, all right, this is about 2025 now.
Specifically for this weekend with the Commanders, it would obviously help whichever quarterback is playing. If Alvin Kamara is there, hasn't practiced because of illness, are we expecting Kamara to be ready on Sunday?
I got the impression that, I don't even know that I'd be putting this word. I can't remember if Rizzi said it this way. I can't remember if sources said it this way, but like just an illness, I got it as, it's just an illness, like that's the impression I had in my mind, meaning like, oh no, it's a very concerning illness. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not how I've understood it. But yeah, I think we need to see him on the practice field Friday before we, otherwise we're going to, have some reason for legitimate concern there. But I would assume it is typically when we see these kind of things, it is just a couple of days. So till you see, and they come back. So definitely be looking to see if he's practicing tomorrow, and if he's not, maybe there is reason for concern.
Mike Triplett's with us, NewOrleans.football on Twitter at Mike Triplett. What did you make of Kendre Miller's return on Sunday?
He was very good. It's funny that when you look at the stat line, he had 10 carries for 32 yards, which is crazy because 2 of those runs were for 8 yards each. So he was, along with Alvin Kamara, a victim to the worst this run game has looked all year. Very, very disappointing against the team that it looked like they should have been able to run the ball easily against. So very disappointing. But no, Kendre Miller, he looks like he's shot out of a cannon. He's got that extra power. He's got that extra desire. He turns short runs into long runs. But that's been true every time we've seen him. Like we did not need to see Kendre Miller's upside again. Every time he's on the field, we see his upside. We need to see consistency. We need to see longevity. We need to see durability. And so hopefully that is something we do see over the course of 5 weeks and feel a lot better about his chances going forward next year.
If there is a guy that the Saints drafted that maybe there's reason for optimism around, it's probably Brian Brzee. Had another great game. 7.5 sacks, blocked the field goal. What should we make of the progress that Brian Brzee has made this year, from literally not starting a game last year as a rookie to now 7.5 sacks and being a pretty impactful guy here?
Yeah, you could say he didn't start last year, but I considered him a starter. He actually might have ended up, I should look this up, but with the most snaps of any defensive tackle last year, even though he wasn't starting. And obviously he's in on the money downs, the pass rush downs. And that is still something he has to prove, that he's not just good on pass rush downs and a liability on run downs. And he's gotten a little better as a run defender, but it's still not his strength. Like Pro Football Focus hates him, when they grade every snap he plays and everything like that. But look, if that's what you're going to be, if you're going to be a guy who's a really good pass rusher and trying to get good enough to be, not a liability against the run, well, then you better be a really good pass rusher. And we're seeing signs that he is. If you can he's making 2 to 3 impact plays a game. In this game, it was 4+, but he's making 2 to 3 big impact plays a game with a pressure or a sack. You get that from the defensive tackle position, that helps his team quite a bit. If we write the 22-man starting lineup for the next year or two, there aren't a lot of names you're writing in ink, and it feels like he's one of the ones you can start writing in ink now, which this team needs a lot more of.
Couple more for you. Specifically on Sunday, they'll obviously face the Commanders, and Jaden Daniels is a good running quarterback. And anytime the Saints face a running quarterback, we all think the same thing, because the Saints have been really bad at defending running quarterbacks. Any reason to believe they'll be any better defending this running quarterback on Sunday?
Well, the funny thing is that's been a talking point since Sean Payton was the head coach.
Yeah.
And we've been waiting to see, have you finally gotten any better at this? Are you finally going to do anything different this time around? And I remember, was it last year? It was that they were supposed to play Justin Fields and Anthony Richardson, and those guys got hurt. They didn't face either one of them, and so they never really faced one of those true running quarterbacks. And then this year, Jalen Hurts they had in week 3, and they did a pretty decent job against Jalen Hurts in that game. So the jury is still kind of out. I don't look at things like letting Drew Lock scramble for 59 yards as the same as when you're defending Lamar Jackson or you're defending Jaden Daniels, because you're not game planning for that. That's just kind of happening because no one else was open, and then you lost containment. But so I'm kind of curious to see if they have any answers, but I'm not optimistic because that was a big storyline when they had like the number 1 run defense in the NFL. And they just had this one weird quirk where they couldn't stop running quarterbacks. Now they have a pretty lousy run defense. And I'm not super optimistic that they can stop good running backs or good running quarterbacks.
Get him at Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football. Chat brought to you by Benny's Car Wash. Actually rolled into Benny's today. Super easy. When you are The Wash Club member, the Unlimited, you just have the little sticker on your vehicle. You pull into the Unlimited Club bay, and you just, boom, right in. It's so easy. Like, I would recommend it to anybody. Go to bennyscarwash.com. Great Christmas gift as well. Okay. Do the Saints have anything left to play for?
Well, look, I mean, we can roll our eyes at there are only 2 games back in the NFC South, and they get to play Tampa Bay in Week 18. We can roll our eyes at that because we don't think they're going to beat Washington and Green Bay. But do they have anything left to play for? Yeah, trying to beat Washington and Green Bay. I mean, like, it's not hard for them to get up for this game if they shock the world and win as 7-point underdogs at home. Then maybe they're 1 game behind Tampa. Like, I mean, they get to play them at the end of the season. Like, if this was a functioning, healthy team, we'd be looking at the standings and saying, hey, it's, the math is there. But, you've got to be good enough to win. And I think that game that they won last week was one of their worst performances of the season. It certainly felt like a loss. So, yes, they have something to play for, but, should they have optimism they can beat Washington and Green Bay? Obviously, that is very hard to come by right now.
Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football, on Twitter at Mike Triplett. And, of course, our chats all throughout the season are brought to you by Benny's Car Wash. Go get your gift cards at bennyscarwash.com, bennyscarwash.com. All right, Mike, we appreciate it, man. Thanks. We'll talk next week.
Thanks for having me.
Man, be well. We're brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. When the temps tick down like this, it's 51 degrees. You walk by windows sometimes, you feel that draft coming off the windows. Well, that's leaky windows letting that cold air in. So naturally, it makes your home cooler, makes your home central heater work even harder to keep the home warm, make your home more energy efficient. Every custom window is custom made, measured twice, installed once for the exact specification of your home. It'll beautify the exterior of your home. It'll make your home more energy efficient. It'll increase your home's resale value, and you always get exceptional customer service from Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. They do shutters too. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Man, been a really good show. We appreciate you for hanging with us. We'll get to Autter Locks here in about a little more than 10 minutes. Jimmy just texted me. He's going to be unable to join us on the phone today, thank God, because the phones have been a disaster today anyway. But the Autter Locks are already posted at louisianasports.net. So if you want to get Jimmy's picks, they're already up at louisianasports.net. Got a play on Thursday Night Football with the Rams-Niners. I got Colucci's hockey plays as well. And Jimmy is actually adding a women's basketball play because, of course, Jimmy would add a women's basketball play. I'll make sure that gets updated as well at louisianasports.net. Okay, we'll knock out a quick break. Come back. One thing I haven't done yet today is give you a reaction to LSU's 2025 football schedule. We'll hammer that out next. Excuse me, on AFR.
AFR.
Hey, remember River City's 1 hour air? Speaking of, we were just reminding you, with the drafty windows making your heater, your home central heater, or your furnace work overtime. Another way to make your home more energy efficient is to have your heater safety check. So call River City's 1 hour air. They'll send an expertly trained technician out to your house, one of those big yellow vans or trucks with a giant clock on the side that you see all over town. They'll send an expertly trained technician out to your house. They'll make sure that your heater is running efficiently and safely. Of course, the efficiency part is great because it saves you money. Not only does it save you money on your bills, but also it's like standard maintenance, like an oil change for your vehicle. It's going to extend the life of your unit by catching little things before they become really big, really expensive issues. And most importantly, it's about making sure that unit is safe to run and operate during the cold weather months. Call River City's 1 hour air today. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
So love the one you got, 'cause you might get run over or you might get shot. Never start no static, I just get it off my chest.
All right, we'll get to Autter Locks here in just a smidge. By the way, Calandro's Rare Whiskey Raffle. If you're driving home, pull on into Calandro's. Get your tickets. Ticket sales shut off in 20 minutes. All proceeds from ticket sales benefit the 4Kids Foundation, which, of course, benefits great Louisiana children's charities all over the state. And then also St. Lillian Academy, which is where my son Drew attends, special needs school in Baton Rouge, which is just an amazing place and amazing resources for families like ours and for kiddos like Drew. So we appreciate so much Calandro's for what they do with this Rare Whiskey Raffle and everybody who supports it. As soon as the show ends, I'm a jet over there. Hopefully we'll see a lot of you over there. The SEC unveiled the schedule, the 2025 football schedule, on Wednesday night. So we knew who the opponents were. What we didn't know was the order, right? The dates. Like we knew LSU's non-conference opponents, and we knew and when they were going to be. We didn't know is when the conference opponents were going to be on the schedule. As a reminder, when Texas and Oklahoma were added, the league stuck with 8 games, but went to a 2-year schedule where you're playing the same SEC teams those 2 years. You're just flipping home and away. So that was this year and in 2025. So LSU's playing the same SEC teams in 2025. It did this year. You're just flipping home and away. What we didn't know, again, was the order in which you were going to play. And when we looked at LSU's schedule this year, remember, one of the big talking points was the 2 Big Ten opponents in the first month of the season, and then you had a trip to South Carolina in the middle. Now, Carolina ended up being much better this year than many thought going into the season. The other thing that was very notable was the 4 November SEC games. You went Bama, at Florida, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma. So you had 4 SEC games in November where most everyone has a layup somewhere in November. I'm not saying I like it, but what I'm here for is equitable scheduling. And you see more of that. So there's 2 open dates again next year. And the way it falls for LSU is they'll play 5, have an open date, play 3, have an open date, and then play 4. So this is how it'll go. We know they'll play Clemson on the road in the opener. They'll come home and play Louisiana Tech. Then they'll be home against Florida and Southeastern. So you open at Clemson, then you have 3 straight home games. That might be the earliest LSU has ever played Florida, September the 13th. We'll have to check, but that's usually Florida was always an October game for LSU. This season, it was one of the latest games we've ever seen LSU play Florida. The exception was 2016, the game that got moved because of Hurricane Matthew to the end of the season, if you recall. So, at Clemson, home against Louisiana Tech, Florida, Southeastern. Then you're at Ole Miss. So what I like is you get the FCS opponent, Southeastern, at home before you go to Ole Miss. If you're at a point where you need to rest somebody, not have a super strenuous game before you hit the road to take on the Rebels, that's a good spot. Then you get an open date before you come home against South Carolina. I don't know what South Carolina will be next year. They surprised a lot of people. They won 9 games. They won 6 in a row at the end, and they were playing really good football at the end of the season. And Lenora Sellers, we know, is a really dynamic runner, but still continues to struggle in the passing game. How much of a leap does he take from this year to next? That'll be interesting to see. But the Tigers get an open date before South Carolina comes to Baton Rouge. And then you go to Vanderbilt, which I get it. Vanderbilt was a nice football team this year, had a really nice season. But that's a relative layup on the road in the league after a tough home game against South Carolina. So you go South Carolina after open date, then at Vanderbilt, home against A&M, second open date. So I like the way that plays out before you play Bama, you get your open date again. So all of that lays out pretty nicely. You have to go to Bama, but this year you had Bama at home, had to go to Florida. That didn't work out. This year you're at Bama, you come home against Arkansas. And who knows what Arkansas will be by that point. And then you get Western Kentucky. That's the layup in November. And then you finish the season at Oklahoma. So I love where the byes are placed. You know, a bye that first Saturday in October. So you play 5 weeks, get a bye, and then you welcome in South Carolina. You have that 3-game stretch where you go Carolina at Vandy, A&M in Baton Rouge, then another open date. Then your stretch in November is at Bama, home against Arkansas, home against Western Kentucky, at Oklahoma. You know, you certainly hope LSU can start strong and go win that opener against Clemson. It's been a half decade since they've won an opener. That's not fun watching them continue to lose openers, but that's one worth keeping an eye on. Seeing Florida early in the season, I like that there as opposed to later in the season when DJ Lagway might be an even better player. That's one where you think from September to October to November, Lagway probably continues to get better and better and better. Probably better to see him in Baton Rouge in September than in November. And then, you know, you catch Ole Miss. It's in Oxford, but you know, that's still early in the season and at the end of September. But they're going to have massive turnover. I mean, you're going to be losing Jackson Dart. You're going to be losing Trey Harris. You're going to be losing so much, some of the key components. Walter Nolan off that team that made them a really tough challenge. What does Ole Miss do in the portal this year? It'll be pretty fascinating to see because there's going to be tremendous turnover. So I like it. I like the way it shapes up. You know, it's always not just who you play, but when and where you play them. And, like, for example, I like Florida sandwiched between Louisiana Tech and Southeastern in September, then Florida in Gainesville the week after you play Alabama in November, right? So a lot to like about the way that it shakes out for the Tigers. Let's go get a win in week 1, please. All right, it's after further review. Hey, we're brought to you by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Love telling you about Optimize. You know, there are a lot of businesses in the state of Louisiana that sell Generac automatic home standby generators. I mean, it's a commodity. It's many different businesses that sell the exact same thing. So why do you choose Optimize? Well, they're the generator people. That's why they're at GeneratorPeople.com. All they do at Optimize is sell, service, install Generac automatic home standby generators. Like, there are HVAC companies that also sell generators. Well, if you have technicians that spend all day working on HVAC units and then they're going to come install your generator, no, give me the guy that all he does professionally is install and service Generac automatic home standby generators. At Optimize, they figured it out. Turnkey installation, the price quote guarantee, and with a low down payment of just $600, they'll finance for any budget so you stay in control of your finances. It's Optimized. Go to GeneratorPeople.com. That's GeneratorPeople.com. All All right, been a really good show. Thanks to Alondra for sitting in for Muse today. Muse is out again tomorrow. He had a wedding that he's standing in. So I wish everybody luck with that. If you missed anything, catch AFR On Demand. We talked about Emery Jones declaring for the draft at the top of the show. We got into a little bit of a LSU Baylor preview. Not so much the game itself, but what we might look for in practice with some of the opt-outs and things of that nature. Mike Triplett was here this hour. We talked about Sage Ryan hitting the portal, some of the safeties LSU's targeting. Tons of good stuff. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Just search your favorite podcast app or YouTube, AFR LSU or AFR Saints, and you'll get it all right there. All right, well, now I got our final break of the show. Come back and wrap up with Autter Locks. It's AFR.
After further review.
Had lunch yesterday over at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Met my buddy Dan Palmer from Mockler Beverage. I had a great lunch. Listen, Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel is an awesome spot for that business lunch or just a casual night out on the town. Tallulah is a great spot to go have dinner. It's not a hotel restaurant. Like last week we took Drew over to Florida for his cardiology appointment, and we got there. We ordered dinner in the hotel, and it was a frozen flatbread that they unwrapped and threw in the little Easy Bake oven. It's not that. This is a chef-curated menu. This is a full-blown restaurant, a dining experience, a casual upscale dining experience right there inside the Renaissance Hotel off of Bluebonnet. They got a great whiskey selection, exquisite wine list as well, craft cocktails, good beer selection, indoor-outdoor flow. Check it out if you've never been. It's Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Right there on Bluebonnet near I-10. It's the Renaissance Hotel.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalBR.com.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR presented by Decision Critical. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Concierge nursing, healthcare for your lifestyle. Every nurse handpicked by Blazer Rivette. He's been a good friend for a long time. Actually, we're going to be at their Decision Critical Christmas party tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Eric and I will be over there. I know I mentioned it before, but Blazer, who's the founder, owner, CEO at Decision Critical, she was a CV nurse when we brought Drew home from the hospital, and she helped care for Drew during many of those early years of his life. So couldn't recommend them highly enough. Private nursing care, concierge nursing care. It's Decision Critical. Learn more. Schedule that consultation with them. Just give them a shout. Go to their website, decisioncriticalbr.com, decisioncriticalbr.com. All right, Autter locks. We'll get to it. Jimmy couldn't join us on the phone today. A little family thing he's taking care of. So, but we always appreciate when we have the Autter. So Jimmy's got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks for the night here. There's a Thursday night football pick, a women's college basketball pick, and that was actually getting started here in just a few minutes. And then we got 3 picks from Colucci. Here you go. And again, you can get the picks always. Get Autter locks over at LouisianaSports.net. All right, here you go. The game that's starting here in 6 minutes, women's college basketball, because, of course, the Autter has a women's college basketball pick. Notre Dame against UConn. So he likes Notre Dame, the women, plus 2.5 against UConn. Thursday night football, big one in the NFC West. Niners-Rams. The Niners are a 3-point favorite. Rams have been surging of late, but Autter likes the Niners. Lay in the 3 with the homestanding San Francisco 49ers. And then 3 picks from Colucci on the ice tonight. 2 money line plays and a total. So he likes the Vancouver Canucks on the money line, plus 150. The Vegas Golden Knights on the money line, plus 105. And the Nashville-Dallas under 6 goals. So again, to recap, 49ers laying 3. The Notre Dame women plus 2.5. That game starting here at 6 p.m., so in about 6 minutes, 5 minutes from now. And then on the ice, Vancouver on the money line, Las Vegas on the money line, and the Nashville-Dallas under with the total at 6. Okay, y'all. Just about going to do it for us here on this Thursday edition of AFR. I'm going to jet out of here and get over to Calandro's for the Rare Whiskey Raffle. For everyone who was able to get by and purchase your tickets, thank you so much for supporting a great event, great cause, something we've been a part of for years and years and years now, helping promote that amazing event. And thanks certainly to the folks at Calandro's for doing an awesome thing and choosing the 4Kids Foundation. And where's our outro music? Anyway, we are just about it. Well, Alondra, we did great, but boy, we did not land the dismount. See you tomorrow.
Not bad.
After further review.
Okay, we're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Go to ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. There are amazing deals on tires right now over at Shawbills. So here's what I always recommend to you. Go to ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. When you go to ShawBillsTire.com, hit the promotions tab at the top of the page. You'll see all the deals that they have right now at Shawbills. Listen, maybe you're going to be on the road soon for the holidays. You have family that lives out of town and you're going to see them for Christmas. You can go hit the promotions tab right there on the homepage and see every great deal. If it's time to replace tires, go to ShawBillsTire.com. They've got an amazing gift card right now. Their gift to you. You can check it out. They've got a Uniroyal promotion. Whether it's any of the best vehicles on the road that you see, you can get them all at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.